Well, boys and girls, what do you say we get started? How's everybody? Good morning. Wick Central, Kenny Sims, Clownhammer, RS Makes, Popaway, and Mike. Good morning, all. Yeah, it's still early. Still early, but we're here. How's everybody? So back on the legacy fork, and legacy fork is coming along. I'm kind of sad. I had a 4-day weekend, and I really kind of wanted to stream on Friday, but things got out of hand, and I wasn't able to. Rise and shine. Good morning, Keela. Hey, Kenneth Davis. Needs more coffee? Yeah, same. This guy needs more coffee. No coffee cup today, just water. You got the box built yesterday, still assembling the turtle to put it in. Nice. Yeah, I picked up a spare box turtle 2 weeks ago. It showed up the other day. We may throw it on here. I don't have enough of the colors I'm using to be able to make it worth it. So give me 1 second, though. I'm going to go pull the print off the printer. The last couple of parts that I need for the electronics on this guy. I'll show you here what we're working with. 1 second. Try to keep the printer hot. So last couple of parts here. So I don't have any more of that glass fiber purple. And so this is Polymaker dark purple. And you can see it's so bright that it like darkens the whole room as I put it up to my face. But yeah, it's dark purple. It looks almost black though, which in the right light you can see that it's purple. Hey, good morning, Jeremy. But these parts came out pretty good. I need to print a few more. So I'm gonna throw this back on the printer real quick, and then we'll get the rest turned on. So I need these cable channels for the electronics. We're doing the inverted electronics on this using the PhysiTech stuff, and that means I need to be able to do a lot of other things. So I need a bunch of cable channels because number one, we're trying to keep this affordable and cool, and these cable channels work well. They go like that, work just the same as any other, but these interface and mount to the system. So this is what I was doing instead of streaming, is trying to get this laid out pretty nicely, and this is the entire inverted electronics thing. It's going to be a little difficult to get to with that bottom plate on there, but I'll make do. Should just be just a few of the mounting points and lay out from there. It'll be a little bit heavy, but we'll figure it out. I may have to turn it upside down and get in there somehow. But I've got that. I still need to design a mount for this thing so that it mounts to the EMS. But yeah, otherwise I've got all the little brackets I need to mount things. So that'll be one stream where I just have things laid out here. I think it'll be easier to see if I have it all laid out when we start to wire things, that you'll be able to see everything. And then we'll just install it all as one big assembly, connect a couple of 24-volt power wires, and then we'll be good to go. Good morning, Nathan. Tuned in because you were promised sweet, sweet wire action. What? No way. We're not even close to wire action today. We're only on stream 3. But yeah, I've been working on that, trying to get those things. I like this idea of printing as I go so that I don't overprint or have a bunch of extra things. I kind of ran into that early on when I printed stuff and then it turned out it didn't work. So I like the idea of printing in stages when we're doing a build series. What's up, Alex? Good morning. Sorry I couldn't make it on Friday. It's been a challenging week. Very challenging week. Good morning, Patty. All right, what do you say we get into it? So again, we've got this done. That came out pretty nice. Will be a different color though. I'll show you what that looks like over here. So this is the the duct that we just printed in that Polymaker dark purple that is almost black. Hey, Howie. Good afternoon, the GPs. This is the purple that the parts are. You can see it's much, much darker. Not really what I expected. I'd say this is more like, I don't know, a lavender almost. Well, lavender's too light. This is like a I don't know, plum. This is like eggplant. It's this weird dark purple color. I would say it's eggplant. Love the color scheme, you? Thanks. Yeah, we're going with Taco Bell theme, Keela. I know you guys haven't been able to catch a lot of the streams lately, but yeah, it's Taco Bell. So we can get you a little bit of a close-up here. Let me see. Give you this guy here. Yeah, so Taco Bell. If we can get it to focus. There he goes. Taco Bell theme. I did have to sand a few of the parts, so these yellow bits in here for the apex clips were a little bit tight. Yeah, that explains the thumbnail. They're a little bit tight. Hey, what's up, Aaron? Rig has a nice printed cable tight. It does, but it doesn't mount to the EMS system that we have, so I needed a specific one with some slots in it. But I agree, they do have a really nice. It looks like Violet Void. Yeah, it kind of does, but it's Polymaker dark purple. So anyway, that's the color scheme. These apex clips I needed to sand a little bit to be able to fit in here. They were not sliding very nicely. They were really, really tight to the point where I had to pry them out of there. And so that's why the carriage is already built. I needed to assemble to make sure that everything was good to go. And then I found out that things were really tight and I couldn't take it apart. And so, we'll have to deal with it. One other thing I did was put the feet on the printer, and that's so I didn't slide this around and scratch up the bottom of the frame. So I got a little bit ahead of you, and I apologize for that, but I needed to get us in a better place. I've also printed these new covers. These are just beauty panels, honestly. What I did is I took the original one. Where did I do with it? Yeah, okay, so we've got the this guy, right? So this is the original that we printed, and this is the one that you would print if you were doing this stock. Thanks for the feet. You're welcome. Yeah, I love Apex clips too. Where's the CAD for the Legacy? Couldn't find it. It should be on the Voron website, GPs. Good morning, Cam Kern. You have to show your daughter she works at Taco Bell. Oh man, if your daughter works at Taco Bell, I need a discount. But I printed these, and so what I did is I just cut off everything except for the last 5 millimeters. And that's because the plate that we have on is 3 millimeters thick. And if that sits flush on top of the extrusion, you start here, you go down, cut the 3 off. And so when it prints this way, I ended up essentially cutting off 5 millimeters up, slice in the slicer, and then bang, you get what you need. And so that's what that is. That's it. Never forgive Taco Bell for killing the enchilada. I hate that they got rid of the grilled stuffed burrito. That used to be my favorite. Grilled stuffed burrito, that 1,100 calorie bomb. Used to eat 2 of those things. You mean the stock Voron Legacy? Yeah, so the stock Voron Legacy should be on the Voron GitHub. All right, so let's get started here. Move some things around. This guy. Put him here. All right. Looks about right. I'm going to do one more tweak here. Sorry. I was out here this morning getting set up for stream and then lost power. So I popped a circuit because I was heating up too many printers at the same time. All right. So let's take a look at where we are in the manual at least. So coming over to the Legacy Fork manual. So there's your Legacy Fork. And we left off, as far as PDF wise, probably done a man look. What? Oh, a man look. Yeah, the quick, brief look at things and then keep going. All right, sorry, we're running into some troubles with this PDF. There we go. All right, so this is where we left off. I hit that in-stop trigger last week, and we got that installed. And then, as you can see, we've got our joints here. Okay, so should be good to go. And then over here, it drops you right into the carriage. And so the carriage, we've got the micro switch on. I've got all the heat inserts in. You do your cross threading with your bolts. One thing that I forgot initially and then remembered to catch pretty quickly was this extra magnet at the bottom here. So for your magnet, let's just make this bigger so you can see. So for your magnet, you want to make sure that you are not forgetting this magnet right here. That is trapped inside of the plastic part, and it needs to be there. Hey, good morning, Brett. It needs to be there so that you can use your Klicky probe. So if it's not, you're going to find out really quick. Then you just jam in your long bearings. And then next, this is kind of where I'm at right here. So adding the wire to the carriage. And I'm glad Nathan's here because I had a little bit of a question. I've not used Klicky in about 4 years, and that's before Klicky NG and all this other stuff. It was just straight up normal regular Klicky. I know that the wiring that goes through needs to be stripped at the end and then make contact with the magnets that we install. But I would like to know, like, how long of a wire do I need? And then which end do I insert? Is it the stripped end goes through the hole? So I'm hoping to figure that out as we go here. Fun fact, Glenn Bell, the founder of Taco Bell, was born in your hometown of Linwood, California. I know that, yeah. I knew that. The first Taco Bell was in Linwood, as well as many other celebrities. Yep. I gotta turn the heat down a little bit. I got sweats on out here today. It was really cold. My hands were hurting. And then I turned the heat on and now it's getting a little too hot. Anyway, and so then I went into the bottom here, added 2 more magnets. These need to be flipped over. So whatever polarity this upper magnet was, you need to use the opposite polarity for the other 2 magnets. And this small triangular looking piece here just holds those magnets in place. And so if you just take a look, you can see that the magnets are just kind of pressed into the bottom of the part, and they look a little bit free so that you could still get in there and access them. But it's just the yellow piece pressing them against the purple piece. Klicky's site have the info about the wires. Yeah. I was browsing it a little bit earlier. I just didn't really get to it yet. All right, so we're adding linear rods. And then we're adding carriages onto the end of that. And then we're adding belts. Oh, these are the y-axis. Okay, did all that. All right, I think we're gonna wait. I think we'll get to the z-axis first. Thanks for the link there. Let's move that over to something you can see. There we go. So there's your Klicky. Let's move this back down a little bit. Cool. So yeah, I was already looking at this a little bit earlier. And I think I need to still print the Klicky probe itself and build that. I still need to make the dock. Okay, so I'm doing it this way, right? I'm stripping all this wire on the end. Rotate the wires around the other end to prevent them from escaping when the mount is being assembled. Okay, so I'm going through the hole back up and then wrapping things around the free end. Is that what's happening? And should I have done that before I added these magnets on here? Yeah, I just don't understand what I'm supposed to do. All right, let's do it this way. So there are two small holes down here. I think we can see those. Come on, camera. There are two small holes. And these holes are, I think, supposed to accept the wire. And then it wraps around and comes to the front where this magnet touches. Is that what we're saying here? So this magnet touches here and then goes back up and around and wraps up against itself inside here. I think that's what we're saying, right? Yes. Okay. Hey, Maker Viking. Good morning. Do the wires, then put the magnets. Okay. I can do that. So let's get to work. All right, I need some wire. And let's move this camera a little bit here. So I was playing around with things this morning, and I thought we were going to capture a little more of, I don't know, the things and stuff going on here. All right, I've got some wire down here. So I like this. I think this is 26 gauge. It's some FEP wire that I use for LEDs and things like that. But it's pretty thin. Let's see what it is. FEP wire. It is 26 gauge. Yeah, that's what I use for end stops. That's what I use for LEDs when I feel like making them. All right, it seems like we strip a lot of wire off of here. I just don't know how much it actually should be. Oh, 30 centimeters. Here we go. 30 centimeters of wire. Let's put you back up. There we go. So on the Klicky website, it says 30 centimeters of wire to create 15 centimeter lengths. Remove 7 to 8 millimeters of insulation and rotate the core to prevent loose wires. Got the 30 centimeters in half. Okay. 30 centimeters. Let's get our handy dandy voron ruler here. Yeah, this is my first time using Klicky in a very long time. Let's see, what did I do with my cutters? What? No better cutter than a box cutter. All right, and then we're stripping, they said we cut this in half, and then we do two 15 millimeter pieces, and then basically strip about half of that. Try Klicky on your Micron, launched the probe across the room, went and bought an Eddy. Yeah, the thing is, there's not a mount for an Eddy on this. I'm sure it could be modified, and you could add one. But right now, it doesn't exist. All right, and if I see how this goes, and that goes up that way, right? It goes like that. I don't know if that's long enough to get all the way up to your what's it called, to the tool headboard. That doesn't use an Omron sensor. It does not. No, it uses Klicky. It uses Klicky via stock. Yeah, I think these wires are too short. I'm gonna cut two 30-centimeter pieces. I'd rather them be too long and trimmed down than too short and have to redo everything. So let's get two 30-centimeter pieces out. I've got enough wire to be okay with that. What's up, Neokoi? You are fashionably late. We started, I don't know, 20 minutes ago. How's your Micron coming along? Saw that you took your tool changer out and got a new filament, or sorry, not filament, printer storage solution, like a storage rack. That's the same rack I have. I think I get the bigger one than the one that you ended up getting, but I have two of those out here in the garage. The LUU is in the way for the stock probe. There you go. Yeah, so you're gonna use Klicky. So Nathan, I thought about, so I was out here cleaning up a little bit yesterday. I found an old unused Euclid probe, which is like Klicky, but it has a shuttle of some kind. I thought about doing this, but I don't know that there's room. If we didn't have enough room for an Omron, we probably don't have enough room for this. But yeah, it's sort of the same concept, but uses a couple of PCBs. I don't know if that's an option. It's definitely a mod though. You have to do that. So we're gonna stick to what we're already doing and go with that. All right, so there is about 8 millimeters of insulation, and it says to twist these together. We'll do the same on this guy. You're up till midnight lifting printers and changing configuration. You still look like a rock. Probably can work. You haven't checked their CAD before. Yeah, it'd be cool to have it. Or what's the other one? Klicky PCB Klicky, whatever it's called. It'd be cool to have that thing. I've got a PCB Klicky somewhere. Okay, so I need to take this off, which means I need to remove the screws here. Yeah, purple is gorgeous on camera. Thanks, man. Yeah, I need to get more. I burned through all of it just making the stuff that I have, but I had to reprint the Z motor mounts, I think twice. And then I printed all the skirts, which are also, some of them are incorrect because I thought I was going to do belted Z. It turns out I can't. And so that's kind of taught me a lesson of just printing parts in batches as you go versus printing everything you think you're going to need and then it just doesn't work. All right, trying to keep that together. All right, so in here we add, this is going to be the little bit tricky part here. So this goes through the hole. I hope you can see that it's very small. And then sort of wraps up and around. And then they tell you to wrap the wire around itself. It's not stripped enough to be able to do that. And I stripped 8 millimeters of insulation. In the picture though, they have a lot more stripped off. They have about, I don't know, an inch or so. So that's not enough to wrap around itself. Come on, Dave. And then we'll do this other one. I think it just sort of pinches itself in there. I don't know that we have to have things wrapped around, but I mean, I understand why they would. All right, so I'm going to use this tool to press this around. And there are two small grooves here that press against the magnets. And so I want to make sure that those wires are in those grooves so that the magnets actually make contact. If not, we may get intermittent contact on our Klicky there. All right. So I think that's good. Let's see. So the magnets in the instructions, it said something about making sure these are opposite. So it sticks that way, which means I need to flip it this way so it repels. And when it repels, that's how I'm going to insert that into this. So I noticed that there were two different files. One was for a 2.7 millimeter magnet. The other is for a 3 millimeter magnet. These are 3 millimeter magnets that I just dropped and stuck. Very, very fiddly to get this going. Hold on, let's remove these screws. That's creating some trouble for me there. I'm going to do one at a time. All right, so if this mounts this way, you can feed more into the hole and wrap back onto the installation. It's good as long as the side facing the magnets are exposed. Okay, let's do some more then. Because I was thinking about that, and it would make more sense to be able to do that. So I'm taking probably 20 millimeters off the end of my wire here. That's, you know, with the 8 that we had before, plus another probably 10. Hey, Boothie, good morning. Or good afternoon for you, actually. Yeah, they fell, and they, Neokoi, they fell, the magnets fell, and landed directly onto the toolbox that I'm working on here. So wires through the hole, up and around, and I'm going to try and wrap this. We'll see how this works out. I mean, I think that's going to work. It's a little untidy, but that's probably better contact for the magnet, honestly. So let's do the same here. Let's twist it up. And get that through. Yeah, it's just very tight to do this. I think a better solution would be to do this before you start to assemble the thing, the carriage. And that way you have more maneuverability in here. It's just really hard to do with things assembled. Okay, so I think we're good there. All right, so longer wire, strip more, and then probably do this before you put it together. I think that would be my recommendation for this guy. And these magnets like to stick to everything. Okay, so that one goes there. And we're going to flip this one over. And same with this guy. That way, flip it over. Okay, so I'm definitely getting contact with the wire now, so that's good. Oh, sorry, my head's in the way. You guys got to yell at me about that. The camera angle is pretty low and tight, so you guys can see what's going on. And sometimes I will step in front of the camera. I apologize. And get our last screw here. What's up, Lamb? Lamb, I got another one of yours here. Look at that. Got your LED board. I don't think my name is. It's not. Your name's not on it. Not on this one. But I do have several LEDs with your name all over it. I just got this one. There you go. Disco stick. Disco on a stick. In red flavor. Okay. So I think that is good now. Looks like the wire is touching in there. Let's see. Let's see. This will focus. Come on. Yeah, you could kind of see it in there. Wires are touching magnets. There we go. Fancy. Yeah, fancy. Okay, so that is all together as it should be. There's a zip tie point right inside. So I'm gonna grab a zip tie, see if I can get that going. Got these really tiny ones in here. These shorties. Let's go. Let's go this way through. Wrap that over. It doesn't call this out in the manual either that you should put the zip tie here. But I know that it is called out in the Klicky stuff I was looking at earlier. And this is one of those deals that probably should be in there, because if you forget it now, it's going to be taking everything apart later. All right, cool. There's the carriage. Ooh, and almost dropped all of those zip ties. That would have been such a nightmare. Okay, where are we? Now we've got, so our wires are wrapped kind of like this, but enough to touch our magnets. And I did not build the Klicky probe yet. I still need to print those parts, I believe. I don't remember printing anything Klicky, and they are not in the standard standard things. Okay, so we'll have to print those at some point in the future, which is fine. Okay. So since I did not click the actual probe, I'll need to come back to it. You love the engineering behind clicking. It's fun, simple. Yeah. Yeah, so we did these wires. It looks like they're touching to me. Yeah, so that should be fine. You can check it with a multimeter if you're worried about it. And then same for the switch, which I still need to build at a later date. Cool. So we'll come back to all of that at a different point. Okay. For this one, let's see. So I'm not going to do any tool head kind of stuff right now. I think we're going to move over to the Z-axis on the Trident itself. So this is where we are, and it wants us to do, looks like part prep first. So I've already added heat inserts. I've already got the mounting points on. My carriages did not fall off. What's going on with you here? One second. Let's move this over. Yeah, my carriages did not fall off. We've got the linear rails on. My end stops are on. My gap at the bottom of my rail might be a little bit bigger than 1 or 2 millimeters. So I may need to adjust that later. Got the caps, rails, caps, more motor mounts, more rails, all good to go right here. Left C joints. So those are actually done as well. So these are the parts that I printed. Just a layer swap to get the yellow in there, and then focus, and then added the bottom pink cap. It's an M5 nut inside, so M5 nut, put the cap on, screw things down, bam, there you go. All three are ready and prepared. Heat inserts installed. Next, it wants us to add these, what are these? Lead screw nuts with M3 by 12 and some lock nuts. Okay, let me grab some of that. There's your M3 by 12s. There's your lock nuts. And lead screws, actually, so these are spares that I got from Fabrico on their clearance sale. So these are no-name stepper motors. They came with lead screw nuts, so the brass style, which means we will have to use lubrication on the screws themselves, but it should be fine. These are Trident Z motors, cheapo kind. I think for all three of them, maybe 30 bucks. I think they were like $10 each. What's up there, Shrimp Father? Anyone else for the urge to use the restroom? Oh, questionable choices. I need a mainsail theme for a Taco Bell Trident. Or Legacy Fork, excuse me, Legacy Fork. Okay. So I need to take the lead screw off of all of these. One other thing I found too, while cleaning up yesterday, going through a bunch of stuff, is I found an unused kinematic mount kit. So I found this one just in a box, and we're going to use this. It's unopened, unused, and we're going to add this on there for the kinematics, which is great. Just using up spare parts. Okay, so this one, add this in here, and then let's see, there are no threads in the brass portion, so we will need those lock nuts. But cool thing is, got plenty of hardware to do so. I don't know that it matters which of the two holes you use out of 4. So whatever makes sense, they just need to be across from one another. I mean, it's not very clear to me which ones they are supposed to be. Let's see, let's look in the manual and orient this that way. Yeah, so across from one another here is what the manual shows. So going perpendicular to where the rail would be. Let's grab those. And I have these, I have these lock nuts with a flange. I think those are going to work here. This should be fine. Let's get those on finger tight. Yeah, I don't think it matters. As long as they fit and not interfere with the plastic part, it should be fine. I am going to just use the normal ones because I have more of those. A little worried about not having enough and or saving those for when I do need them for a place. Cool. So those are done. And then I have, let's see, where'd it go? Got my little tool here. That is just an L wrench and works great for your M3 nuts to hold those while you snug down your hardware. You don't want them to be too tight. You need a little bit of play in your Z-axis, in your, your lead screw nut, so that it can wobble if it needs to. You really like the location. It looks like it's a very thin line, and then there's another very thin line of purple beneath it. Yeah, it just happened by luck. I printed these when I printed the original, what were they? The original Z motor brackets. So when I printed these, it just so happened to align with those. And it's a very, very nice, subtle line that was an unintended side effect of the process. Yeah, so sometimes you get lucky. And if I had superpowers, my superpower would be the ability to be lucky. So getting this right here is better than trying to do it later. It's going to be very tight to access this later. So having just the right amount of tension so that things can move is key. Move without moving vertically, I think, is what the manual talks about. So there we go. We've got a little bit of like wobble left to right, but not up and down. Adjust this one a little more, going maybe like a half a turn on the part to allow that to wobble back and forth a little bit. Now this one is just a touch tight, so we'll do like maybe quarter turn on that guy, and you got to turn it the correct way because I did not. There we go. Cool. So that's moving in there very slightly, but not moving vertically. And then it's just rinse and repeat. So I'm just going to do all of them while we have the hardware and the tools out. Good luck worked for Mr. Magoo. Yeah. I'd rather be lucky than good, I'll tell you that. And so far, I've, kind of been pretty lucky. Lucky to have the parts I need without having to purchase a whole bunch of stuff. Lucky to be able to jump on stream every Sunday and keep this thing going. Micro Viking tagging all the normal folks. And I just did that the wrong way. So we talked about going perpendicular to the rail, and I was about to not to do that. So we need to go across this way, not vertically. So that first one I'm gonna have to take off and redo. Ah, what happened? He said you're not normal. What do you mean you're not normal? Normal's what you make it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn that heater off here in a second. It's getting pretty warm in here. It's so when I got up this morning, it was 29 Fahrenheit, and Right now it is up to 32. So we're getting warm. For my European folks, that's probably somewhere around 0 to 1C, somewhere in that range. Yeah, I still need to find a source for panels on this. I don't have any panels. I have a bottom panel. My bad. I do have a bottom panel, but I do not have a back panel or any of the extra panels we're going to need to make this thing enclosed. We've still got a few weeks before we get there, but I am on the hunt for them, and I'm looking for a source. All the normal folks I would use don't have either the time or the ability to do it right now. And so kind of having to look at the typical resellers, which is fine, but I'd rather support a smaller person, smaller company. Okay, a little bit of movement in that one as well. Looks good. Last one. Would be negative 27 wind chill. Yikes. That's pretty chilly. Stay in the house. Hey, Raj D. Good morning. Or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Yeah, we're starting to finish up on the Z-axis here. Ah, I'll tell you, these little things are hard to hold on to. I keep dropping them all over the place. You ran cardboard panels for a while. Yeah, so Coroplast is a good alternative. Yeah, we may just go without panels for a little bit until I can get panels. But that'll be weeks from now. So I'm hoping that we can get pretty close today to kind of wrapping up the last like mechanical bits. Get to electronics on the next stream. And then that'll put us a little bit closer to finishing up the build. All right. Good on there. All right, let's turn this heat off. Getting a little bit too warm. Okay. Where are we? What you need to do is build some old Taco Bell tray. Ooh, that's a good idea. Maybe we can laser cut the panels out of Taco Bell trays. But do they even have trays at Taco Bell anymore? I don't even think that's a thing anymore. Yep, done all this. Done all this. And then it says we're bolting these to the linear rails next. Already booked your hotel and got the tickets for the weekend. Nice. Is that for, oh, that's Smurf. Got it. I would love to go to Smurf. I'm jealous of you guys getting to go. Rocky Mountain is on the fence. I know I said I was going, but everything changed like a week ago when I got promoted. Because now I need to move. I'm sorry, I need to go to a class that is at the same time as Rocky Mountain. And so with me being in class, I don't know that I can just go. The class ends on the same day that Rocky Mountain begins. And so that makes it challenging to be able to go. Only about 4 or 5 hours drive. That's not too bad. If it was 4 hours, I would drive, but it's, I think from here to Colorado, where Rocky Mountain is something like 17 hours. It's a very long trip. Let me see. Can I just, I think what I'd rather do is kind of go off script a little bit and get these Z's installed in here. And that way I can feed the bracket in from the top and just turn the lead screw. So I think I want to do that. So let me lift this up a bit, slide this guy in. It's fine there. Make sure the wires come towards the middle of the printer here. So let's go this way a bit. This guy we can scale down a bit. There we go. And then let's zoom out a bit as well. All right, I'll do my best not to get in the way, but I'm gonna move around. Let's go that way. Okay, that one is there. This one is here. We'll go. Just try to lift this up. It's hitting the wall. There we go. Like so. And that'll bolt up like that. And then lastly, get this other one on here. So let's see how I can finagle this one. There we go. So I'm just gonna let those sit in there for now. They'll be fine where they are. Let's get you guys back in frame here. All right. So all of your wiring wants to come to the center of the build. And so if you don't do that, you're going to be a little disappointed when things get wrapped around, especially if you have the motors that plug in and are not permanently installed like those. It's going to be difficult to access. So point to the middle. All right, what are we using for hardware here? I think I'm doing M3x12s. Okay, we still got those out. So here's our hardware. And we're starting with the rear because that's what was on the manual. So another instance of the filament being very tight. Interesting lower panel. Yeah, Jeff, it is a, what do they call it? The name escapes me right now. It's a West 3D panel. It's solid steel. It's 3mm steel. And it sort of acts as a brace for the entire lower half of the printer while adding mass to the bottom. So you get a big cutout so you can still access a little bit if you're doing inverted electronics, but it is tough to do that. I want to eventually cut a small acrylic panel to sit here so that you can see what's going on. But the idea is that you add mass to it. You're installing the old tool head. What's the old tool head? The Legacy Fork project has a stealth burner on it. But I plan to use A5T is what I'm going to use. But I don't know what the old tool head is. I think that's what you mean. I think 12s might be too long for this. I think maybe 10s are better, yeah. So 12s don't allow the printed part to bottom out on the carriage block. So M3x12 is not the right size here. And to be fair, that did say on the front left Z joint R12s. For the rear, it says I should use 8s. That's a me thing. Klikky's motor mount. There you go. Klicky, that's the name. Thanks, Reth. Always coming through with the right answers. I don't remember all of the mods' names and all of the things all the time. But yeah, it's Klikky's motor mount. So it's a steel plate that mounts the motor. So you have a rigid Z-axis, but also adds mass to the bottom of the machine. There's some drawbacks. It's tough to do inverted electronics and that kind of thing, but we're going to make it work. I think I can get my hand in there enough to be able to make it work. All right, I just need my M10 hardware here. Sorry, M8 hardware. Let's make sure this is the right size. Yep, they all look like 8s to me. Hey, Kegel. Thanks for showing up. Not only do Kegel and I hang out in the CAD competition live streams, but we build legacy forks on stream as well. Okay, so in the rear, we're going to use 8s. That's me just assuming that the front and rear mounts were the same. That is not true. On the rear, you're going to use M3 by 8s, and in the front, we're going to use M3 by 12s. According to the manual, we still have not mounted motors, so I'm going a little bit out of order, but I'm doing that on purpose. Are we there yet, Liz? We are getting there. Good morning. Good morning. Getting the Z-axis done today. Another Sunday morning in sunny downtown California. In the desert of California, for sure. Now, it's been actually a milder winter. It could be a lot worse. I mean, it does get pretty cold. We'll drop 40, 45 degrees between day and night, but it's not in the 20s, and it's not super windy and rainy, which it's never really rainy out here. 12s on the front. Don't do the inverted electronics. You tried it with that base. Very difficult. Well, I have to, Reth. I've already printed all the stuff for inverted electronics. When you say it's difficult, what makes it difficult? I am not above modifying parts to make it work. I'm pretty committed to inverted electronics at this point. Come on, lead screw. There you go. That's the wrong side. Had to get in and actually changing things that are not right in the middle. I'm not sure what you mean there. Yeah, so I'm not doing inverted electronics in the typical style, Reth. I'm using Physitech's EMS system. So this grid, which means I can place items anywhere I want in any orientation I want. So the idea is that as I'm placing things, because I have this huge cutout in the center of the plate, I should have access to some things here that I need to get to. And I can build my electronics on here, except for the mains. So I can build the electronics on here, install this underneath, and then just access my mains to connect in, and I should be good to go. So is there a lid to that hole in the bottom? GPs, not that I saw. Again, I'm not crazy familiar with every project. I was wondering that myself, if there is an insert of some kind that I could use, but I have not found one yet. The idea was that I was considering just doing my own. TBD, not exactly sure how I'm going to do that. Think about connector that are right under the metal plate corners. I don't have any connectors there. So my motors are integrated wiring, so there's no connector. And then if I place my main board sort of here, I'll be able to get to it. Power supply, we're using a small LDO power supply. So this is their new one. And the idea is that I place it this way. So kind of in this area here, I should only have to access this. And I'll be able to connect here. So again, the benefit of the Physitech one is that I can wire everything on the grid and then just install the grid into the machine. Yeah, I hope it's a nice PSU. I've not used it before. You know, crud is just falling into that black hole. Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking about like an acrylic panel of some kind, and then I might need to print a perimeter, sort of like a lip kind of thing, that panel can sit on while that perimeter holds. I don't know. I still have to think through what that looks like. You heard rumors LDO will bring out a 48, 24, and 5 volt. They may. I know that Jason's been teasing it and asking about it, and people want it and that kind of thing. If they do, that'd be great. I mean, especially if you're doing all-wheel drive kits and monolith kits and things like that with 9mm belts and all this other stuff. Like if you're doing all that kind of stuff, it would make sense to have a PSU that has all 3 voltages on there. -8C sounds tasty. Exactly. Stell changer could use that 4824 vibe. Yeah, exactly right. So if I'm gonna do a stell changer, or I'm gonna do a monolith, I hear rumors of that. Those are all 48 volt capable, and you know it makes sense to use 48 volts on something like that. So if I were LDO, I'd make it. Let's bring this down. Hey, good morning, Reverend. Have I seen the LDO monolith gantry kit? I have. I've seen a picture of it. I don't have one. I've seen a picture of it though. What's the question there? The GPs. Are you getting one? Just going to insert one screw here to hold this motor in place. These are M3 by 12s, according to the manual. And I think those are a little long for what I've got going. So, let's use 10s instead. Yeah, I'd love to do a monolith gantry. That's very interesting to me. I would need a platform to put it on. I've got 2 V2s. One of them is a 3030 frame. It's already running Vitali's all-wheel drive kit. And then the other one has the LDO all-wheel drive kit, or it will. That's the plan. But the monolith is not released yet, and I'd like to try it out, but I don't have a platform to put it on. I mean, I guess we could put it on here, but I really want to keep this as a legacy fork. LDO say will be out in March, April. Built the printer for the kit. Just been waiting a long time for it. That's cool, man. Like, I would love to do the same. I need to get rid of some printers first. Need to get rid of some printers. I need to move so I see what the new location looks like and what I have available to me. And then from there, I'll be able to decide what we do next, or whatever the next build is, because I can't keep adding things without knowing how much space I'm going to have or not. Right now, I've got a pretty big garage. This is honestly like a 2.5 car garage with some extra space at the front and on either side, left and right. And that affords me the ability to have 2 giant racks full of printers, plus the space I'm streaming and building in right now at the front of the garage. I don't know if I'll have that when I go to my new place. So I'm trying to play it safe and be smart. You really want 40/40 frame and or structural panels? Well, I do have the Seaboard Trident. It's got an easy bake frame on it. That's a 40/40 frame. And we can just add structural panels. That's not a big deal. But it's already running the all-wheel drive Seaboard setup on it, though. So it'd be removing all of that, which I'm not excited to do, like the way that it is. So realistically, if I were to do a monolith, it would be a new build. What's not to love about 2 giant racks? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah, each of those industrial shelving units can hold, how many printers do I have on there? Anywhere from 8 to 12, depending on the size of the machines. One of the racks has my bigger machines on it, so it's only holding 7 machines, and then the other rack is holding smaller machines, and there's 12 on there. You have storage, just saying. Yeah, you do have storage. The problem with storage, though, is like out of sight, out of mind. So if I put printers in storage, then they kind of get forgotten about, which means you don't use them as much, or the new cool project that you want to do is not as of top of mind. But generally, yeah, that like if I end up with too small of a space, if I want to continue streaming, I'm going to have to store some things. That is absolutely true. Racks on racks on racks. Yeah, you're not wrong. Not wrong. It's a lot of machines. Do you print stuff other than printers? I do. I do. I don't use all of them. A lot of them are, you know, for the love of building things and stuff. They're just all different in some way. None of my machines are the same. None of them are stock. But it's really the love of building, and it's been a process of collection over the last 6, 7 years. So over 7 years, I've accumulated about 23 machines. I think I'm back up to 24 with this guy. Works well on both, but the Trident is stiffer. Yeah. Yep, Trident is stiffer. Well, that's just a function of the Gantry, I think, though. The flying Gantry is meant to be, I don't want to say, what's the right word? Wobbly comes to mind, but flexible is probably the better word. Because flexible, when you're doing the quad gantry level, you need that gantry to be flexible. The Trident uses that rigid gantry, and so I agree, it's probably the better candidate for something like a monolith gantry. Agree on the storage, yeah. Can't always see if B has some room to store your printers. Yeah, give her a call. Let her know. Our printers are staying the night. Yeah, but they're not all huge. Like, this is one of the bigger ones I have. So, two V2 350s, a Trident 350, that's the Easy Bake. A Rat Rig 300, that one is really big. That's probably bigger than the 350. Taller for sure, deeper for sure, about the same weight. And then, what else is over there? A bunch of other random stuff. The one I really need to get rid of is this FL Sun S1, this giant Delta. I need that one to go somewhere. And then we just finished up the Delta Flyer. That one's a pretty fun machine, but probably be better for someone that could love on it a little bit. For me, it was a fun project. Used it a little bit. It's cool. Good morning, John Doe. You'll check with B for me. Yeah, I appreciate you. 24 machines are a lot. You have a handful with just the Ender 3. Well, it's an Ender 3. That's why you have a handful. Ender 3s are labors of love. Ender 3s take a lot of nurturing to be good. Your Rat Rig 300 is bigger than your 2.4 350 with a... Yes, correct. I second that. The Rat Rig is huge. And it gave me a lot of trouble, too. I was kind of angry about it, and it's been in the corner on timeout for a while now. I need to get back to it. Let's loosen this one a little bit. Let these others find a home. There we go. Let's get them all started a little here. Yeah, Jeremy, if you're still watching, one recommendation for this Klicky bottom panel, I know you don't have much of a say in it, but it'd be great if it just came in raw steel or like a brushed version instead of all black anodized or powder coated, whatever this is. You've got S5. I don't know. What's an S5? Oh, $5. You've got $10. You know, for as much trouble as the FL Sun S1 has given me, $10 might take it home. Make that Ender 3 an NG. There you go. Listen to Howie. Turn that Ender 3 into an NG. You have a much better printer and learn some stuff along the way. Just going over my homework here to make sure we're good to go. Thinking of adding the full frontal mod on your Rat Rig, be useful for index or other tool heads. I'm not familiar with that mod. Do you have a link for it, the GPs? We'll make it so you can post a link if you want to share. No one is doing Rat Rig content. One guy did it for a while, but that's it. Yeah, so we built my Rat Rig on stream. I need to stream again on that one to get it working. I had to change a lot. I think I'm gonna go away from Rat OS. That's really kind of my problem, is trying to understand what I need to change or add in to just modify the configuration I'm using is a pain in the butt. I don't really understand what I'm supposed to do, and I think that's a lot of my problem and why I'm getting frustrated with it. But if I just put calico on it and called it good, I'd probably have a better experience. So I'm considering doing that. And if we do, we'll stream it. Cool. So that are those, all three. Someone say rat rig? Yeah, I still have the other rat rig here. FL Sun are that big of a pain. It just wasn't done well, Keela. It's a decent machine when it works, but the extruder gets hot sometimes, and it will get hot enough that it was melting the filament. So I had to replace the extruder with the new one from the S1 Pro. So it's another one of those deals where like they came out with a machine. It was not the best firmware side. And so they just released a new version of it and discounted the original instead of fixing it. So that was pretty frustrating. But it works now. It's just clogged right now, so it's not printing. Might have to skip this live stream. You're getting YouTube ads. Not cool. I'm sorry, I don't control it all that well. We'll love to convert your into 3. Sounds fun. Yeah, Rudy, you should. It'll be a good time. RatOS Dev has left. Rat Rig is now doing the work. Yeah, I'm sure it works if you stick to the plan. If you stick to the config they give you with the hardware they give you and you don't change things, you're probably going to be okay. It's going to be very similar to what we're doing right now. Follow the manual, you'll be good. The trouble with that is I don't want to do that. I want to do my own thing. All right, I think we're back to Gantry here. So let me get us back to where we're supposed to be. Did that. All right, let's grab our linear rods. Throw a clipper on the rat rig. Yes. So it uses a version of Clipper, but it's a very interesting version where things are controlled tightly and nested. So it uses a lot of separate configs for each piece of hardware that then talk to one another. And so trying to understand what bit you need to change. It's basically right now that I've changed so much. It's like almost everything is already in the printer.cfg because I've added all the stuff in. Great documentation. Yeah, it is really documented well. But again, you got to stick to their recipe because if you don't, you're going to really need to understand that firmware side of the house. Okay. Stuff like that does seem to happen more and more with new printers. Everyone is always in a rush, which, yeah. It's fine if you build stock. Yep, correct. How about you go back to bed and wake up on the right side, said with kindness. Hey, that's the thing, man. Ads ain't for everybody. But YouTube has to make money somehow. What am I looking for? Oh, we're cleaning rods right now. So I just took these out of the package. I don't know if they have oil on them or whatever, and so it's a good idea to clean them up. It's a nice Sunday morning vibe. Yeah, absolutely. We're hanging out, building a Taco Bell printer. We're going to go get Taco Bell after this. Liz, I caught a lot of your interview with Dave Makes Stuff last night or yesterday afternoon. It was a pretty interesting cat. Hey, there we go. Nice. I'll check it out. Thanks for that. Let's see. Dave blew your mind? How so? Just the story and like the how he became Dave Makes Stuff? They have new items too? Who has new items? The developers team with FunSource, so you buy the full kits in CNC metal. Oh, the math and the art? Yeah, that was pretty interesting. He was talking about using, if you remember from the 90s where we had those notebooks that had the crazy geometric patterns and stuff on it, those were all math art as well. Oh, Taco Bell. They do have new items. You're correct. You're correct. I thought we were talking about printers. The developer is teamed with FunSource, so you buy the... Oh, you're talking the rat rig stuff. I got you. Taco salad, question dip. I think you mean queso dip and churros. Mr. Killa, I'm doing an interview tomorrow with Mr. Hector at Fabrico. Is there any questions you would like to see asked? Thanks for thinking about me, but I think I would want to ask something like how he chooses which items he stocks in the store. Because if you notice, they don't have everything. They have to be choosy on what they stock and what they don't, what projects they support and which they don't. And so I'm curious, like, how does he come to that decision? And then also, what future projects is he considering supporting? That's probably two questions that I would ask. RJ, you can ask him to send me a sticker. Dave, or sorry, Mike, I thought I sent you stickers when I sent you filament. Did I not put stickers in there for you? You need to swear off fast food. Just started Zep Bound this one. I don't even know what that is. Zep Bound? Thanks to the VA. Not sure what Zep Bound is. Is that like a cholesterol something? 3D printing stream, we discuss food. This is a chill and talk trash while we build 3D printers channel. I can get us back on track if I wanted to. No sticker? Oh, my bad, man. I'll send you some. I swear I put one in there, though. I might have forgotten. Just trying to get it out the door quick. Okay. Let me move this to the side here. We're going to put this on the floor. And then that way we've got free reign to work on the gantry without banging into the frame itself. Oh, like Wegovy. Got you. Okay. I didn't think anyone eats Taco Bell. We don't. We just put it in our mouths and then it immediately comes right back out. So we never really eat it. It's more like mash it around and swallow it. Weight loss? Gotcha. Yeah. I have the opposite issue where it's hard for me to maintain weight. So not every week, but probably every month, probably once a month, I run a little diesel through the gas tank and we indulge in, you know, Taco Bell or something that you wouldn't normally go for. Something like maybe Chinese buffet. All right. Here's our X carriage. It says add these rods through here. But I think before I do that, I should probably grease these, yeah? So I got a little bit of plastic dust in there where I was sanding stuff. But does the Air Force do real PT? Yeah, we do. Well, the Air Force as a whole, I guess it depends on what you consider real PT. But we're about to go to every 6 months, you got to run 2 miles. So twice a year, 2 miles instead of once a year, 1.5 miles. I think I can use the same that I would use for linear rails. You were in the cab, you ran a lot. Well, I think you had to, right? We fly, so why run? It doesn't matter when you're in an airplane. All right, so what I did was just go inside of this. And if you can tell, let's see if the camera will focus here. There are small bearings inside there, like in 4 separate channels. Just added a dollop of grease on each of those channels. And that way, when I shove this rod through there, it should push that grease down into those channels and grease the ball bearings. Dollop of Daisy. Dollop of EP2. That's what we're doing. So do that, and we'll do that one more time just to be sure. There are printable tools that you can add to a tube of grease, and those seem to work about the same. But if you've got this EP2 with the nozzle tip on it like that, it kind of does the same thing. So, I mean, it's whatever you want. Just want to make sure that you have enough grease inside there. And it looks like I do. I'm trying to get some good light on it. Sorry, 1 second. It looks like things are well greased. Okay, so I'm gonna just take off some of this extra here. And we'll add these back in. There's that one. We add our second one down here. In Germany, there was a unit that did volleyball for PT. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that do volleyball for PT. So yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's more, I would classify it more as exercise in the Air Force, not necessarily PT. Not like military PT, like you would think. You flew as well, AirCav. Nice. I fly now. I still fly. Do in-flight refueling. It's pretty fun. I don't know what I'm going to do next, but in-flight refueling is what I do right now. Okay. Poosh has a really clever device for this. Yes, that's I think that's the one I was talking about. They have to get out of a chair 10 times for their PT. There you go. Wait till I hit 45. Dude, I'm about to hit 42 in like 3 weeks. Think you ever build a plain kit? Plain kit as far as like something stock? Probably. It depends on what it is. The Delta Flyer's stock. I just painted it a little bit. What else? My H2D is stock. I just added some rolly feet to it. The second SK Cube is stock. So I've built some things stock. RV10 or something like that. I'm not sure what an RV10 is. Maybe I want a Taco Bell after the Air Force. I'm not against it. Not against it. But the whole an aeroplane. No, probably not. I don't know that I'll get into RV airplanes. Or sorry, what am I trying to say? RV anything. I'm just not an RV kind of guy. All right. These go, so the yellow piece that I have on mine is the rear, and then you'll see a small voron logo here in the front. You want to make sure that's at the front, and whatever your back brace, this is your Y-in stop. The screw just triggers the in-stop. That should go towards the rear, obviously, and your rods just kind of thread in with pressure into this part. So I'm just going to flush them to the end of the printed part for now. And then depending on what we need, we can adjust left to right. That one's really tight. That's good though, that's what we want. Just want them to be equal. Okay. So that one, we'll do the other one over here. Same kind of deal. Just press these into place. Friends don't let friends drive stock. There you go. All your borons start stock. Yeah, I mean, it's to each his own, right? Like, Don't Knock It's got a good point. If you are uncomfortable modifying and thinking on the fly about how to solve compatibility issues or anything like that, you may want to just go ahead and build stock. I'm pretty comfortable doing that kind of stuff, and so I choose to mod as I go. I try my best to think through it, but I don't always get it right. So that's, you know, the downside of it. Sometimes I'm reprinting parts 2 or 3 times, and it's not always fun. I'm just going to remove this portion. Having a bit of a trouble to get that on there. So if I take that off, remove that hardware so I don't lose it. Should be able to press this down into the table now. Okay. That's good. This still slides, which means we're not bound anywhere. Should go back and watch this build. You want to build a legacy just so you can compare it. Yeah. I still want to build a legacy as well. This one is just a mashup of the Trident and the legacy, so it's kind of the best of both worlds. If you can think about what a legacy is, it's not meant to be enclosed. And so the gantry is kind of on top of the frame. And so things stick out. This one's a little more enclosed because it's built on that Trident frame. And so you can actually enclose it and print higher temperature filaments on it. So it's a little bit better in that regard. But I still do want to build a true legacy. So I know we were doing on one of the streams, we were doing like a legacy fund. But with things being in flux, I'm hesitant to collect more parts right now. So that is a little bit on hold while we figure out what's going on. Okay. So yeah, this is a good middle ground. But I invite you to go back and watch. You do like linear rods? Nice change from rails. I agree. None of your printers remain stock for long. Same, don't knock it. Mine are, I don't know that I've built one completely stock in a while. Kit airplane like a Piper. Yeah, I know nothing about kit airplane RV stuff. Your V0 never got the stock tool head, but straight to Dragon Burner with Orbiter. Yeah. I mean, those projects are so well documented and put together that going straight to those are not a terrible idea, even for those that are building their first machine. Dragon Burner, Rapid Burner, things like that. Anthead, A4T are also well documented that you could probably just start there and be okay. I want to move our window down here. All right, now it wants us to do like belts and stuff, but I'm not ready to do that. And so we'll do 2 of our Y-axis. What do you do for the Air Force? Timor, I am a in-flight refueling specialist. So I do in-flight refueling for the Air Force. Fly tankers, and we connect 2 airplanes together in the sky. That's what I do for the Air Force. That's my function. My actual job is more administrative these days. But I still get to do my function from time to time. Okay, I need to see. So there's a small, like a ridge, right? So this is a little bit offset. Focus. There's a small kick out right here. And that kick out should go towards the center of the rod we're about to put on. So if I'm building my left side first, I would put this small kick out here. And then in the front, I'll have the small kick out going towards the center. So this way. Like that. I thought your job was hair care advisor. It could be. It could be. I'm noticing that I need to grease the other bearings as well. So I might go ahead and do that before I insert all of these rods. So these will go that way. I thought you're mad respect, appreciate yourself. Hey, no worries. Don't knock it. I totally get paid for what I do. Thanks for the support. It's fun. It's fun. I've been doing it a long time. Actually, I've had several. I have not been doing in-flight refueling for a long time. I've been in the Air Force for a long time. I've only been doing in-flight refueling for, man, probably 9 years. You were close, but you were stuck with shipping delays, so your V0 was stuck for about 2 months. Ugh. Ads wouldn't bother you if YouTube didn't have the audio maxed. Yeah, sorry, man. I don't get to choose that. I think I can pause them for a little bit if you guys want. I think there's a button for me to do that. Yeah, there we go. So you should have the next 10 minutes free, ad free. But I don't know that I can do anything about when they show up. So sorry, man. All right, let me add some grease in here to these. Serialized already. Yeah, don't knock it. How many printers are you have? Is it just the V0? Are you the guy that flies the boom? Yes, I'm the guy that flies the boom. We call it a boom operator, but the function, the specialty is called in-flight refueling. But yeah, I'm the guy that flies the boom. One of the guys that fly the boom. It's kind of like what I'm doing right now. So I take the nozzle, put that in the hole, but I'm doing it at 300 miles an hour and in the sky at 20,000 feet. Kind of the same thing. Is the Form US only? Salty day it is, unfortunately. You're all for the ads was replying to, oh yeah, someone else. Ads help support the channel, so you're in favor. I guess they do a little bit, yeah. Most of the support from the channel comes from you guys. So from your memberships and from your donations and super chats and things like that. That's where the majority of the support for the channel comes from. So thanks to you all for allowing these to happen. Have I ever done 2 planes at one time? I have. So I used to be on C-130s doing what we call helicopter air refueling, and we could do 2 helicopters at once. You'll have one on either wing, and we use what we call a drogue. It's a basket system that looks sort of like a parachute, and you just dangle this fuel hose out there with a parachute on the end of it, and the helicopter would come up and tag that parachute and get its fuel. So yeah, we can do it that way with fighters. Done it a few times. Okay, so we'll do that one in there and keep that one on. Let's see, where did the towel go? There we go. been away a bit. Is the Legacy Fork an interesting printer? So far, yeah, it's so far it's a good printer. It's a fun build, I'll tell you that. I can't tell you how it functions though, because we have not we don't have it working yet, but I'll be sure to include everyone on that one. We can do some tuning and stuff as part of the wrap up on this guy. But yeah, it's definitely a fun build. Don't Knock It says he's got 4 vorons so far, a P1S and an Ender 3, so 6 total. Nice. Seen that on TV? Looking at this project, there are too many good designs. These, oh, dude, Don't Knock It, I'm with you. There are so many cool things. That's why I have so many printers, is because there are so many just interesting projects out there that I want to build. Not that I need them or want to own them all the time, just the fact that building them seems fun. Sorry if you can hear all these banging around, but kind of need it right now to get these rods seated. All right, so there's our gantry. That's, oh, you know what? It's totally backwards. Oh, man. Trying to mess with your SVO8. Tried the official Eddy, seems like a ripoff. I saw that the Eddy, might try the Big Tree Tech Eddy. What? Oops. Yeah. Oops. So we've got only one option, and that is to take one end of this off. This is going to be a pain. Dang it. I can't believe I did that. Your girlfriend went to this maker meetup with you. Now she's on board for you to build some more shelving and printers. It was nice. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Getting them on board is part of the battle. Ah, well, I broke that one. So that's interesting. We're gonna have to too much man strength on it, and we broke it right in half. So that's going to be a little bit of a showstopper. Let's see if we can do this other one without breaking it. We've already got to reprint parts, so why not? And that hurt too. Oops again. Yeah, this happens to me all the time. I'm always doing dumb stuff. Yeah, then you try to sell on Marketplace only to have others try lowball you for a printer. You two like to build? Yeah, so that's a thing. I did sell off my LH Stinger yesterday, so spent an hour and a half or so taking that thing apart, boxing it up, getting it packaged well, and that needs to get picked up as soon as the holiday is over. So, I mean, you can do it, but it's not gonna be crazy. You should always print extras. Yeah, you're not wrong. Once you hit your printer limit, then just keep modding them. Yeah, that's kind of the direction I think I'm going to have to go with this channel. I can't continue to add on machines. Feel free, you guys. Took you a while to get in on board too. Yeah, my wife's on board mostly. She's just kind of like, yeah, go out in the garage and do your thing. She actually popped in the stream last week and said hi, which is a win. It's a win. Oh, come on, you. Yeah, I don't know of a good way to get this undone without breaking it. But here's the thing, I can't really continue with this regardless, so there we go. That one came apart without breaking it, so we just got the one. We just got the one. So I think what we can do is reprint the one bracket, and the rest should be fine. Some bozo the other day tried to trade sandals for one of your lasers. I was going to do that reverted from mainline clippers. You didn't want to remove the eddy from your ender wire, but so many problems. Tried it at first with NG. Yeah, so like I think there are, I don't know, mods or something, like firmware changes or whatnot that you can do with your eddy to make it work well. I don't own an eddy, so I don't know how to advise you here, but Wes says you have 50 plus printers, so how come you only see 9 functional? Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. This build is a bunch of extra parts, really. A bunch of extra hardware and things. I think we got linear rods, bearings, a frame, and that's it. That's it. Wife prefers when you're off doing your own thing. Yeah, kind of the same. Kind of the same. All right, so this needs to swap. So we'll put these. This guy goes at the bottom. Sorry, this way, not the bottom. And then this one comes in through this way, and these can go back together. So now I should only have to reprint the one part because I did a dumb. Problem is the printer with that filament is busy, but I think we can swap around some things and get this printing on the P2S. All right, so that is good to go. I can't believe I did that backwards. That's completely not paying attention. All right, this can go this way. And then we just need to reprint the one part here, and I have to get this off, and that's going to be a pain in the booty. I'm probably going to have to cut that off of there. The rod is so greasy now that I can't grip it to pull that off. Just need a larger workspace for printer storage, yeah. You have so much filament, you feel compelled to build another printer just so you, hey, don't knock it, check this out. So if you look behind me here, look at all this filament. This is about half. So this is above my head. This goes floor to ceiling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows with 11 each. So there's 77 spools of filament just on this shelf. There's another one over there with an equal amount. Above me, I've got 2 rep racks that are 10 feet long. And there's, you know, another 80 up there, or sorry, not 80, another about 50 up there. And on my Panda station over here, there are 24 spools. So I'm up over, I'm probably like 200-ish spools. Make sure you have a website with the printers you want to get rid of. John Doe, that's a great idea. If I knew how to create a website, I would do it. You would think I'm tech savvy doing all this kind of stuff, but not when it comes to computer programming and website development and stuff. Last count 125, so you got me. It's not, I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it. I would much prefer to be around 125. Cute little collection of filament, yeah. Wick Central is over here with his 500 spools. Yeah, so this is like, you know, 8 years of collecting, 7, 8 years of collecting just different colors and spools and things and stuff. Time for a Squarespace. You're not wrong. I don't think I'm big enough for a Squarespace sponsorship. Let's see. I need to do. Let's get sliced up here. There's help with addiction. Yes, I'm doing it now. I'm detoxing. I'm detoxing right now. So when I first started the channel, I was giving away my own filament to try and help get rid of some of that stuff. And LDO came in and was like, hey, we can help. You don't want to know. You don't think it's 500. So 475. I'm hearing 475. And speaking of filament, here in about 30 minutes, we're going to give away a spool of filament. So if you have not been in the description to sign up, the link is down there pinned in the description. You'll be able to sign up to win today. So for the 66 of you that are hanging out watching, go sign up. US only. Sorry, that's not a me rule. That's an LDO rule. Go there, sign up, and maybe you'll get lucky. You're not far. Do you feel giveaways take away or mess with your watch time? They probably do. Like, you'll see it. Steve talks about this. I'm sure Jeremy and Keela see it as well. I think Armor 3D sees it. Projects and Dad's Garage see it. You have a huge watch time, like leading up to when you give away, and then after giveaway, you see a noticeable drop off in viewers that stick around. And I get it. That's how it is. It's a lot to ask someone to hang out with you for 3 hours and do a thing. So I'm not angry about it, but to answer your question, yes, you see a drop. You also have a truck just saying, hey, come over. Come over, we can make something happen. All right, I need to do Gantry and Y shaft holder, this guy. And we're gonna print this in ABS GF, and that's going to be a dark purplish. Something like that. So I just cleaned this build plate this morning, and this is on the P2S. I will need to run over there and make sure that we load this appropriately, because I don't have this filament loaded at all. The other option would be to print it out of like a random color and not care. You've gone overboard with the 3D printed RC cars, but on the bright side, the kids, oh, there you go. There you go. The dog, not so much. Yeah, I have a Sakura kit down here that I need to use. I got it at Rocky Mountain last year and just have not built it yet. I don't know. Just not into RC, I guess. Okay, let me grab... Because if I use the glass-filled stuff, I got to switch nozzles. And I don't really want to do that, but I don't have an exact match to the color I do have. I'm printing with the other color that is close. So we're gonna go with a different color then. We'll have to go with our darkest purple. Give me 1 second to grab this. Not working out. My AMS is kind of up under a shelf, and so the lid doesn't open all the way. So to get it out, I have to like pull the AMS out and then pull it out. But we'll use this one. This is, I want to say this is Inland. I don't exactly remember, but it's just regular ABS. It is lighter compared to the other stuff, but it's what we have. So let me get this loaded up and get printing here. We'll be able to get this going. Just need one part. I think the part, what's the slicer saying? About 30 minutes, which is great. So we can do other stuff while this is going, and it'll be fine. Just got to figure out what I can do in the meantime. So I thought this was already heating up, but I forgot that we lost power earlier, and it stole the power. So I'm going to let that printer heat a little bit. Life is full of tough choices. PPS, CF, both sides. if I had a printer that was set up to do that. So I have to swap nozzles, right? Both printers that are able to print PPS have 0.4 in them right now. I would need a 0.6, so I got to stop what's already printing, swap the nozzle, do the thing, and it's a lot. I don't want to do that. This is close enough. It's the bracket will be in the rear of the machine, so it won't be as noticeable. You guys will know, I'll know, but nobody else is gonna know. Nobody will know. Speaking of RC, you need to get cranking on your death racer for Rocky Mountain. There you go. Those things seem cool. They really do. I saw a few death racers at last year's Rocky Mountain, and it made me excited about trying to do one, but all you print is PPS CF, no issue so far. I don't know, man. I've tried, and mine immediately clogged. It could be because I was using a high flow nozzle and it's got that internal geometry in there. Both machines are high flow 0.4s. And so if I try to print PPS with that, it's going to clog. I've already been down that road. You have a Santa themed death racer. That's pretty cool. All right. You're getting hot. Chamber's at 24. Chamber needs to warm up a little bit. So let's see, we can prepare this. This is going to not be ABS. This will be this generic stuff. 25 minutes for this guy. This is on the P2S if you're not tracking that. Why is my infill looking like that? Oh, there we go. We need to make that 40. I don't know how that got changed and saved for something else. Go with, yeah, no, go with high flow. Yeah, tracking. Still 25 minutes. Okay. Print, go, auto, send. Yeah, the P2S is running one of Wham Bam's carbon fiber build sheets. That thing's been amazing. The only caveat with it is that you have to use some sort of adhesive. And so what I like is the Vision Miner. That's the stuff I'm using right now, is the Vision Miner stuff. This works incredibly well for me. I just coat the build plate with this and I'll get, 15, 20 prints out of it before I have to reapply. So that stuff's been pretty good. I've used this for a while. Not sponsored. But you need it for that carbon fiber build plate or nothing will stick to it. You'll be super frustrated. So clean with a little bit of IPA, apply the Vision Miner, print 20 prints, go back and reapply as needed. Great stuff. Yeah, I love that stuff. I use it on everything, whether I need to or not. Okay, let's find something to do while that's printing, because I made a mistake. I definitely need to pull this extra piece off of here. So we'll save the broken one for posterity. Let's see if I can use these pliers here to maybe manhandle this off. That's the problem. I don't have a way to hold the end. Let's try some flat jaw pliers, like way on the end where it's not going to matter. I think that's coming out of there with some twisting. Hey, look at that. We got it. And I made sure to hold it way on the end where it's not going to hit any bearing surface. Uh-oh, printer's yelling at me. What happened? This is, I think the AMS might be a little messed up here. What's going on with that? I'm not sure what's going on with the AMS, but it's like clogged or something. That's fine. We'll swap over. I need to re-slice this. While everybody thinks that the AMS is cool, it is not always. So it gets messed up like anything else. Let's see. close this. Stop the print. I hear you. What are the next steps in the build? Any prep work to do? Brake clean, it's ABS. What about acetone welding? You could. I don't know that it would be the proper solution long term. I've got some gloop down there to glue it if I really wanted to, but I don't see that being a fix. So the proper thing to do is to just reprint it. This is going to be some external filament. We'll do it that way. Slice that. I'll put this on the external spool and we'll send it again. Any prep work to do? So the next steps would be like adding belts or whatever. And that's really it for the legacy fork manual. And so whatever is left in the Trident manual here is the same kind of stuff. So building the gantry and installing the gantry. I mean, I guess we could do skirts if you really wanted to, but it's not really what I want to do right now because I need to add the electronics. Yeah, so it's really gantry and belts. Same stuff as we're already doing. How do you decide what to do next on your channel? RJ Repo Man, it's whatever I feel like doing. Whatever project I have lined up, whatever I have the most parts in stock for, whatever I think is interesting, whatever kind of gets me jazzed is what I want to build. It purely on what I want to do, not what I have to do or I feel like somebody wants me to do. So it really is just me making a decision. Started playing with homebrew PVA and PVP. So far it's performing like your Vision Miner. Yeah, that sounds like a great. Your X1C backer and your AMS sucks. Kenny, I would say if you have the means, I would get yourself the AMS 2 Pro. Works so much better than the original. Still has some issues. Like I'm pretty sure that has a bit of broken filament in the one of the feeder gears. So that's what's going on. Let me fix this really quick. I need to swap spools. The cool thing about the P2S is it has a split entry. So I can do 2 spools on the side into the external feed. And doing it that way lets me have a lot of options. So I have 2 spool holders on the right-hand side, and then I have the AMS on top. So I have 6 colors on the printer. I can print with 4 at a time. All right, let's see. So put that new filament from the AMS into there. And now we just need to load that. So let me swap this over to this, confirm. I don't know why, but Bamboo Studio has been super laggy. I'll click a button and it'll just freeze for like 10, 15, 20 seconds. Why are you not loading filament now? Let's see. First gen AMS was the bane of your existence when you had P1. Yeah, I agree. As a hobby should be, do what you want. Correct. Correct. That's exactly my thought process. Nobody's sending me printers. Nobody's telling me what to do. If I get, I don't know, bits and pieces from folks that that are sponsored or whatever you want to say, I will try to incorporate those into what I'm doing, but I don't accept stuff with the condition that I, do it next or do it right away. That's not how I run my channel. I build what I want to build, what I think is interesting, or whatever it is I want to play with. So like right now, I give you guys a preview. So I'm looking at behind me over here, you've got the salad fork members build. I've got most of the things down here for a simple core build. There's a V chunk over there, which I've not seen anybody do. So I would like to get after that at some point. What else? There's like a refresh on the V minion I need to do. There's a mini V that I need to finish. So there are projects out there. It's just a matter of, am I ready to do that? You're not the boss of me. I do what I want. Correct. Correct. I build the things that I would want to build, honestly. What is going on? This is just not loading filament right now. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. All right, now it's going. So I have to use the interface to make it go because the freaking slicer is not communicating properly. Just want to load filament. Was it 10 o'clock already? Okay, so what can we do? What can we do? Let's figure out what that looks like. So this is the rest of the Trident manual. And this is the part we can't do, the belts or the gantry right now. So let's continue down, see what else we can do. I've done all of this with the carriages. I did swap over everything to 1.5 GT belts. So the idlers that we installed last week are good enough to... Why are you yelling at me? Oh, here we go. Are good enough to be able to swapped out. So I took them apart, put them back together. That was fun. And I think I have things working. One thing I forgot to mention is that on the XY joiners themselves, the pouch idlers that I'm using are too wide. So the flanges are too wide. I had to notch out a portion of the plastic to get those things to rotate. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. So right inside here, there's this small plastic piece. The flange on this pulley is hitting into that. So what I ended up doing is taking my soldering iron, right, so that I would use for heat inserts, and just gouging out just like a little channel for each of these flanges to be able to go in there. So if you're going to use the pouch pulleys, be aware of that. I couldn't get these assembled without doing that, and I had to do it on both sides. That was fun. Let's see. I agree with you. What you say is what you say. I would give them rebuttal, but would be quoted as such. Editorial is all creator, not company. Correct. Correct. Yeah, this is not about, you know, getting a whole bunch of free stuff and doing that whole YouTube influencer business stuff. This is me hanging out, building what I want to build in my garage. Recent purchase, K2 Plus combo. Nice. It was never Creality, but here you are. Yeah, what do you think about your K2 Plus? I thought that was an interesting machine. I just have been burned by Creality a few too many times to really be interested in anything that they offer these days. That's just me, though. I'd like to see a set screw here. So right now it's a friction fit. I can't speak today. Friction fit in here. And this is going to work fine, especially with this glass fiber ABS. What I would wonder, though, if I took this apart several times or over time with vibration and movement, are these going to slide out? I don't know. I'd feel better if there was a small set screw in here somewhere. I don't know. Maybe I'm catastrophizing over nothing at all, and it would be perfectly fine. So that's that. I guess we could probably do a little bit of tool head stuff. I failed to take out the tool head I'm going to rob parts from. So my inertia cube is over here behind me, giving me issues. And so I thought that the hardware in the tool head would be much better served on this build. And so this is what they call A5T. This one would be A4T. Very similar. Your LED is gone from the bottom to the top. So Mike, thank you very much for the LEDs, but they're not going to work here. I got to make my own. You found out the belt tension would hold them together. Nice. Hold them tighter. Got you. So that's one change. The other change is that you use 50-15 fans instead of the 40-10. So there's your difference there as well. Otherwise, it's the same. This one is made to accept a tube, a mini tube, or what we're calling compact, tube compact. So another small difference there. All of that hardware is in the other printer. So I need to pull that out and do it. I didn't really think about that. You said it's a little thicker, like front to back. Yeah, probably. It sticks out a little bit. It's a good catch. But I do have one vendor fan. I don't know how I ended up with one and not two. But I definitely want to use vendor fans on this. Where did I put them? I don't remember. It's around here somewhere. I thought I had a vendor fan. But I've got this Delta. And these are going to just slot in here and give you that kind of look. So even though it is a little thicker front to back than an A4T, it's also going to be a little bit wider because of the way these fans have to mount to be able to fit on the machine, but not by much, just a little bit. So you're going to get way better cooling in a similar size package. Right now, the project is in development, and this is a beta. And so right now, Tube is supported. Sorry, Tube Compact is supported. And I forget the other one. Maybe Dragon. Where did I find A5T? You can find it on Suzuki's GitHub server. And I want to say there's a project. Let me see. We've got time to kill. Let's take an adventure and see what we can find on the interwebs. So if I come over and I search A5T, if you go to this GitHub page, which I will post in the chat, give me 1 second. Yep, Nathan already beat me to it. There it is. So if you go here, you can jump in. The last mod was 3 weeks ago. If we look at the STLs, cowling's available. You have an you have a Sherpa mount, and then you have an orbiter. I think we're going to use a Sherpa mount. And then, so you have your tube, you have your TZ-V6, which is kind of like what is in the Delta Flyer. And then for your orbiter, I believe it's the same. So your mini tube with vendor fans, and then your TV V6. That's a cool one. It's got LEDs in it. Vendor NR, I guess that's non-reverse. O2 LED. So this is your thing here. So I know I said I was going to use orbiter. Oh, sorry, not orbiter, but LGX Lite, but I don't think I'll be able to if I do this A5T. So again, we're gonna have to change directions. What will ship first, Tube Compact or Index? So here's the reality. I have 2 Tube Compacts already. So Tube Compact. What hot end fan does it use? I think it just uses a 3010 fan. So just a 3010. Same as the original. Didn't realize that toolhead exists. Yeah, it's on its own GitHub. Tube Light, there you go. Currently building your box turtle for your Voron 2.4 350. 2 failed prints. Ouch. Yeah, it'd be nice if Index shipped first, but whatever, I don't make the rules. Let me check on this print really quick. It's not printing yet. Come on. Killing me, Smalls. There we go. Turns out you have to actually click the print button if you want it to print. Yes. Okay. All right. So we're going to flex. And I think what I want to do right now, since we're going to kind of go off track, is I want to probably start on the layout for electronics. That way Ref can stop giving me crap. All right. Let's move some of this stuff around. So here's what I want to do. We'll talk about some of the electronics and what my thought process is right now. And if there's a better way, shout it out. Let me know. But this is what I'm thinking. So I've got already primed a Manta M5P. These are like hen's teeth. I don't know that you can find these commonly anymore. Usually it's either a 4 or an 8. But this is an M5P, which gives us just enough for what we're trying to do here. A and B have the 2240, the TMC 2240 drivers. Sorry, I lost my window here. You need just push print to come hit the button. Printer should just know. You're correct. They said killing me, Smalls. I love it. Yeah, so 2240s here. That way we are able to see driver temperature inside Clipper. That just happens natively. You don't have to set anything up. You put the driver in there, it's going to know what the driver motor temperature is. And we'll have to figure out some cooling solution. Great thing is, this is a big grid. And so once we mount that where it needs to be, sorry, backwards, going this way. Once we mount that where that needs to be, I have access to all the power here. And imagine just a big cutout in the bottom plate, right? So power's here, I can easily get to that. Motors are here, little tighter, but okay. We'll just have to make sure that we, reach through and plug in. I still have access to all my pins here. USB will be tight, not gonna lie. So when I do a camera, it'll be an add-on later. And I may have to just pull the skirt to be able to access through the front here. And that'll be okay. So that'll be a little tight. Everything else should be fine. SD card I won't be able to access very easily, but I've got a solution for that. They make these things called SD card extenders, like this guy right here. So they make these SD card extenders where this will go into your SD card port, and this provides an outlet for a full-size SD card. Also, this uses a full-size SD card anyway, so we'll just have to remove the screen, get to the things and stuff. It'll be fine. I don't plan on swapping SD cards very often. That's not really what I do. I modify parts and pieces. All right, so that's that. I need to move this a little bit. Get a USB hub. There you go. USB hub will work just fine. So that's that. And then we have the smallest power supply that I could find. So this needs to mount with the live, neutral, and ground towards this rear corner where our power is going to be. So here, and then this goes like that. And then if we choose to do extra LEDs, that will go there. And then we've got the Nighthawk, which has its own little mount, and that can go pretty much anywhere we want. But it makes sense for this to probably go in this corner because the wiring for the Nighthawk is going to come down on this back right corner. So we can do that like that. And that should be it. I'm not aware of any other electronics I need to put in here. So with this layout though, even though I have a very small cutout in the bottom of the frame plate, I should be able to get to all the things I need to get to. Yes, it's going to be a little tight, but I should be able to access it. I even designed SSR. There you go. That's a good one. I even designed this little bracket for the LED so that I could use the same system. So that will go like that. This, I just plan to, the way this works, let me grab one of these inserts. I make these little hexagonal inserts that go under the frame. And so this will mount just like that on top. Right under there. And somebody said SSR. That's a good point. I've got one of those down here as well. See, I've got more than one. This guy, SSR, should mount onto this guy like so. So this will mount to the bottom like that, and then this goes on here like that. Just threads in through the plastic. Done. And so maybe that means our board shifts a little bit. We want to have access. We want to have access to this so that I can connect this later. So maybe that takes that place. And this board can rotate sideways and go here if we want to keep things tight. But I do want to put a cable channel through here. So maybe this comes through this direction instead. And we put it right next to it. What do you think? Finding out you don't care for the Polymaker refills, they get jammed on the side too often. CB2 has built-in memory. Oh, nice. Well, good. Good to know. Good to know. It is a CB2. Don't you want a heat sink on the back of the SSR, or don't they get hot? I have heard two different things. I've got an older metal bracket, right, like you would normally use for a DIN rail. So I have one that I can use if I need to. I would just need to gin up a bracket that would match this. I don't know the answer to your question. What I could do instead is, I've got some standoffs. We could do some standoffs. Good morning, Bearded Bucket. It's almost afternoon at this point, buddy. Well, thanks for being here. I've got these standoffs I can use. And if I'm worried about heat, these standoffs can go here, and that should help. It's my thought. So maybe we plan to do that. Don't know what size that hardware is, though. Let me find some 4s. Good electronics bay fans keep the SSR good. There you go. I guess the answer is we will find out. That's right. You're about to be unpopular. Polymaker is overrated. Yeah, so this is M4 hardware. That's exactly what I need. I need some shorter screws, though. Don't rush the day. It's still morning here. There you go. It's been morning for me for a while. I need to find some M4 shorties. Like this. And like this. I swear I have more M4 hardware than what I'm seeing right now. Got one. Just going through some of the hardware kits, like leftover boron hardware stuff. So M5s. These look like 4s. Yeah, so those look like 4s, I think. Yep. So the idea is that this hardware will go through the bottom of this. And then we can get this standoff on here. And if we're really worried about it, standoff should allow some airflow in and around this thing. So that was the plan. Come on. Oh, is it not long enough? Oh, that's frustrating. Are those metric channel locks? They are not. They're not channel locks, they're parallel jaw pliers. So this is the knockoff version of a Knipex, but they are 1.5 inch on Amazon. Toolant is the name. I guess there's metric on the back side of it though. So we'll hold on to those for a different thing. And I guess we'll use longer hardware for standoff right now. Water pump pliers. To be honest, we've been printing lots of stuff for the store. Polymaker's been failing a lot. Epax 3D has run true and smooth every time. I've not used Epax 3D, and thanks for being here, Digital Dragon. I didn't see you pop in. Did not know that Epax made stuff. I had one of their resin printers. Ooh boy, I think in like 2019. 2019. I think I got one of their resin printers. It was okay for back then for resin. I think this is going to eat up most of the thread on this standoff though. It's fine, we'll figure it out. Still on the team of Polar. There you go. Just learned this morning that the K is pronounced. It really is Knipex. Yeah, Knipex. Tongue and groove pliers. Yeah, Digital Dragon, you got fans here, man. Is your store sending stuff yet? You guys shipping? Mitch at Polar is just too good. There you go. I got to meet Mitch at Rocky Mountain last year. He gave me a spool of red rocket that I have not tried out yet. I need to. Red rocket red? Whatever it's called. Rocket red? I think I have slightly longer standoffs here. Let me grab these instead. The ones I'm using are going to end up being too short, I believe. Ah, dude, I did that backwards. Well, that's okay. I gotta take it apart anyway. Just pulled the trigger on Knipex this past week. Good stuff, and you're happy with all 5 pairs? Jeez. Good for you, Moonshine. Still on team whatever filament is loaded in the machine at the time. Yeah, I have a lot of Polymaker, but I also have an equal amount of ambrosia and bamboo filament. There's some 3DO, some decent ABS from DFH. So that goes that way, which means these need to come up from here, like so. You could ship via USPS, but I think you're disabled the shipping feature on the web store. Is it a moisture issue or just not wanting to print? That's a good question. I've not experienced a lot of Polymaker failures like that. Polymaker's usually pretty good. And if you have bad filament, you reach out to them, they will make it right. Watching all these feeds is costing you a lot. Got all the LTT drivers as well. Hey, well, here's the cool thing, man. On this channel, I'm not going to sell you anything unless you want it. And usually it comes in the form of merch. So if you want a cool, sweet hoodie like I'm wearing, but no tools. That'll go on top of there, but we can't do that until we find out where this is going to go. All right, so what should our layout be? I think I need to slide this over a little to accommodate the layout I want to do. The cool thing is this is slotted, so the bracket can move without having to move the mounts underneath. And all of the longer brackets are the same way, like these mainboard brackets have giant slots in them like that, so you can really dial in where you want this thing to be. So like that. I added the same feature on this bracket that holds our ESP, or sorry, our WLED. Not 100% sure I want to do that. I think this board has enough RGB ports on here, so I'm seeing 2 RGB ports to where I can run both sets of LEDs. So I don't know that I need that, but it's there if we want it. Which means I should have plenty of room to put my SSR anywhere I would like. So maybe this swaps with our LDO Nighthawk mount. I think this is the heat insert one, so we can add a couple heat inserts to that. Did y'all see the cube update? What cube? What cube? I will have to go over there and check that out. Thanks, Aaron. Tube, you know English. I did not see the tube update. No. I saw an update for, oh, what's it called? Pika. Saw an update for Pika. They will hopefully be shipping at the end of February. Okay, well let's take a look. Let me get that window back over here. I want to see what you're talking about. Let's not gatekeep and let's share information. All right, looking at Tube Compact, just 2 weeks out, and then 2 weeks for Index as well. Is that what we're saying? Better click that link. Which one? This one? What website is this? Projects Me Tracker .page. Is this something you made to like go to and check all your stuff? Shame Tracker? Oh, Project Shame Tracker. Okay. I was thinking of it as like Projects Hami Tracker. Makes sense. Project Shame Tracker. Got you. This is kind of cool. No. No. What do the no's mean? Click the box with the tube. Oh, it just takes you over to whatever the newest stuff is. Yeah. Projects Ham E-Tracker. Yeah. Yeah, so I've gone through this already. A bunch of nozzles. They had some tooling issues. Pika. Yeah, so this is the update I read this morning. Blame Eric Builds. I don't know Eric. I don't know Eric. Well, it's cool. Hey, I printed one of those. It's in the house. And yep, there's the Pika. I think my X1 carbon might be kaput by the time I actually get my Pika. It's entirely a gag to get folks to finish projects. I love it. I love it. And then index is 2 weeks plus 2 weeks. And so the no is like all the things that are done. Is that what we're saying? Oh, great. There's a whole ton of different stuff. What is this? Fixed side scrolling on the website. It's flashing. I love this. I didn't know this was a thing. Yeah, this is awesome. Okay, filament giveaway time. If you have not entered into the giveaway in your US, it's US only, I need you to go do that pretty quick. So once I pull this window over, I'm going to close the filament giveaway. And I think that part is warping. Good luck, US peeps. Why is there no link to the project? What project? The one I'm working on? There should be one in the description. If it's not there, I can add it. It may have gotten forgotten, so I'm not saying that, but come on, Windows. All right, we're closing this giveaway. Then I know I need to push you over to someone else. So, oh, projects on the website. Yeah, there's definitely a link to this project. Oh, the website stuff. Like, I think it's in there if you click, like Aaron was saying. I don't know. I didn't make it. I didn't make it. I don't know what's happening. We're all over the place today. All right, filament giveaway is closing. Turning off responses. So we got 57. Create a pull request. Should be able to click on something to go to the project page. Yeah. All right, 57 responses. Let's take this to a sheet, and then we'll copy over some names. Looks like Wix Central was the first one in. Congratulations. Last was Mr. E. Mr. E 1211. Copy these names and put you over here. All right, let's bring this over so you guys can see. There we go. All right. So now I just need numbers. Let's make these things a little bit go away. There we go. So what are we doing for shuffles this time? 12. Ken Davis says 12. Pi. 11. 6. Mr. E is a menace to society. 13. 11. LTX and Clownhammer teaming up to give me nonsense. 700, not happening. I like 18. Charmingly Chimera, we'll do 18 for you. Let's see what we can do for 18 here. And spin. Good luck, folks. Sometimes it works out, yeah. $6.99, also not happening. Kenny Sims. I know you've been here sort of all stream. Are you here right now to accept your filament giveaway? Kenny Sims. 18 spins on the 18th of the month. Good call. Kenny Sims. You got 60 seconds left. There he is. All right, Kenny, so what's going to happen is I'm going to pass your info over to Jason and the team at LDO. They're going to reach out to you via email to get your shipping information and all that kind of stuff, because I don't want to be responsible for it. So if that doesn't happen within a day or two, let me know by any means necessary, and I will reach out to Jason again, because it means that I forgot to send the email in the first place. So once we end today, I'll send your info over. Congratulations. Sweet. Yes. I know. I don't even get filament wins. Not anymore. So here, the other thing is, if you're in the Discord, I would love to see what you print with it. So the LDO filament, I think, is all ABS, if I remember right. I don't know that they have a PLA. But I would love to see what you make with your winnings. Ow, that's still hot. You love how small the new PSU is? Same, that is tight. So that's the one that we're gonna use, but I did pick up the smaller version over here of the, I got the UHP, and this print did not turn out well. I'll show you guys here. Let's heat this back up. We're gonna have to reprint this again. All right, so this is what I saw, right? So looks okay, right? What about now? Actually, let's go to this other one here. What about now? You see what I see? Hold on. See that big lump right down the middle? Because the print warped. So warped just enough to make it not work. You can see a big seam. That's not going to work out for us. So, yeah, again, we're going to have to reprint. So look at that. It's a paper chip, potato chip. Brim, yeah, absolutely. We're going to do a brim. That's one of the downsides of using that smooth plate like that. I think I'm going to swap over to my textured plate to be sure. Because I don't want to continue to just reprint and reprint and reprint when I can just use something that makes sense from the start. So we'll switch over to this textured plate and do this one more time. All right, this guy back over here, textured plate, and I don't know that we're going to use a brim though. We'll do this. I think the texture should hold it now, but just in case, we'll add a brim on here. This guy, other, outer, slice them up, and see what we got. 20, it only added like 60 seconds to the print. Send. Actually click the send button that time. You see that? It's the only way to make it work. Better use some hairspray. Yeah. Dude, there's not a single can of hairspray in this entire house. My girls don't use it. My wife doesn't use it. I don't use it. Once we stopped printing on glass, I haven't even used hairspray for anything. But you can tell in the picture that we have here, that PEI sheet grips like crazy. That's the leftover stuff from the Delta Flyer parts. Never use hairspray. I agree. I don't like hairspray anymore. Back when we used glass, I did. Now, this is before Nano, Liz. Like before we had Nano, we had to use hairspray. And it worked, surprisingly. All right, so that's another bit of plastic in the garbage. Okay, we'll put this pretty close. I need to pull that out of the case. Where did it go? This guy? So we got our Nighthawk 36 here. If you haven't seen one of these, comes with all the fixings. But the adapter is in the small bag. Don't use hairspray? No, I don't use hairspray. How do you keep your hair in the wind? I cut it off. I don't have any hair. I don't like hair. I'm like a seal. I'm just smooth. Someone was saying that brims are useless in 26. Give them your own perspective. Well, they are largely not needed. But in the instance of, do I want to continue to fail or would I like a little bit of insurance? I'll take the insurance. Okay, so I'm going to orient this with the 6-pin connection at the rear because the tool head cable is going to come down this rear right corner, and because I want to mount like this, that we have clearance through here, we're just going to Just going to add it like that. So let me get some hardware. TMI. TMI. So these are supposed to be 8s. I think 8s are what I need. Actually, let's use some button heads. I don't know why I'm using sockets. These should be button heads. Because this calls it fully dressed when it comes with all the fixing. Fully dressed. That's a good way to describe it, yeah. And there's probably hardware in the kit. I would imagine there is. I just don't want to use it. Yeah, I spilled this yesterday and had to spend 15 minutes picking up all the little hardware bits. I was so angry about that. But some of them got mixed here. Okay, those all look the same length. There was a time when we used 10-centimeter tall skirt on the brim to keep air from warping. Yeah, I remember that as well. Blue tape, all of it. I remember all of it. I remember making like an ABS slurry for printing ABS. You have to dissolve ABS and acetone until it couldn't dissolve anymore, and then use that to paint your build plate before we had things like Nano and Magic Goo and all that. How do you keep all my hardware organized? I use a combination of things. So you buy these little kits on Amazon, so they come in stuff like this. Another way is that you can buy kits like this. So you can get like an entire printer build kit for voron type stuff. So that's a way. So those plastic bin type stuff, but I'm trying to move away from that. Now what I use are K2 Kevin's screw unit. I've got a line of them across the workbench to my right. That's where all the camera and monitors and all that kind of stuff are. And so they come with these little bins, different dividers and stuff. So using up filament, just printed a bunch of those. And that's what I use now. But right now it's still a little bit of a mix. Nobody in the hairspray camp? No. Should not be using hairspray in 2026. Brims, okay. Hairspray, not okay. Alex still uses ABS. Hey, people have their preferences. It's cheaper than using Nano, although Nano works with just about every filament, whereas the slurry only works with the ABS. So to each his own, whatever you prefer. Just depends on what you print. You'll be using that from now on. Have I ever had a bin hit the floor? Yes. More than you would realize. I try to be very careful so you don't get to see it, but like when I pull it out of the drawer, what I do is I immediately put my hand under and I carry it over here with 2 hands like this so I don't spill it. That is my habit pattern now because I've dropped them several times. I also try to keep them pretty low to the desk so if it does fall, it doesn't go everywhere, hopefully. We'll see if I can stick to that. Okay, so I know I want this back here. Probably going to put it a little bit out of the way in this corner. And so to do that, I need a couple of screws through here and a couple of mounts. So these come in different flavors. So this A mount has a heat insert right down the center. There are other ones that have them offset. And because this is a grid, there's an offset to the left on one of the flat sides. And then there's an offset to the left on one of the corner bits. So depending on how you want to use this and orient it, you have different options. There's also hexagons with zip tie holes in it, all sorts of different things. For this one, these are going to go directly down the middle, so I'm going to use some of these A clips to go there. I printed a bunch of these. I didn't know exactly how many I would need, but I printed probably, I think, 15, 20 of the A's, and then about 15, 20 of the Bs. Not all of them have heat inserts, so I may need to add more. But I really like this system. This is the second printer I'd be using it on. That's all the military training. What do you mean? Have I ever? Oh, yeah. I don't know. Coffee shakes is a cruel troll when it comes to those things. Dude, I have the shakes naturally. I don't even drink coffee, and I get that way. I'm just a clumsy person in general. I trip over things a lot. I drop things a lot. I don't know. I'm just bad at being good. I'm really bad at being good. We must be related. We probably are. Who's your mother? So these heat insets pressed a little bit of plastic through the hole. So to deal with that, I just grab my smaller 2mm driver and press out the extra plastic while it's still able to be pressed out before it cools all the way. Just take that right off of there. I'm gonna turn this light down just a little bit. I feel like it's washing out stuff. And you were 20 in 1960? Yikes. You're speaking to you, putting your hand. Oh yeah. I'm tracking, Kegel. It takes me a little bit to catch up. Like reading what you mean is different than hearing what you mean. It's kind of like when you're trying to get a text message and you may misinterpret and get pissed about whatever was said, but when somebody says it to your face, it hits differently. It's a challenge. Context is everything. And when I think we're starting to go to some of these more low context mediums like social media where you're interacting, but like the facial expressions, the tone, the inflection in the voice, all of those types of things just don't transition and transfer like you would if you were speaking to someone. Where's my tool? This guy. You were 2 in 1960? I was not even thought about in 1960. I think my parents were born in 1960. See, just like that, drop in hardware. I do it all the time. That's why your wife and you use emojis when texting so we don't interpret. So here's the crazy thing. You could say whatever you want. And then you add like a laughy face at the end of it or a smile at the end of it, and people don't get mad. It's crazy. It's wild. But the more we go to that, the more loss of our ability to effectively communicate in person happens. That's why it's important to get out and talk with each other. That said, go to Rocky Mountain. Talk to all the people. If you see someone who's like, oh man, I know that person. I wonder if they have time to talk to me or not. I would challenge you to go talk to them anyway. I mean, we're all there to hang out and shoot the breeze, meet each other in person. So take the leap of faith and go talk to folks. You turned 86, Timur? Man, thanks for hanging out. So this whole 3D printer stuff, this has to be like science fiction for you then at this point. Remember if the after party at the hotel is fun? Rhett, that sounds like an invite. I still need to get there, man. Like, I don't know if you heard me earlier talking about it, but I've got to be in Alabama the same week. I don't finish the class until Friday afternoon, which means I got to catch a late flight on Friday to be able to even get there in time. So I don't know what that looks like. I need to cancel the flights I currently have and then reschedule them for departing out of Alabama instead. All right, this guy, I want the high voltage side to go towards the rear of the printer so that I can bring in voltage from the connection at the rear and across and over. And then we'll have the low voltage side towards the main board. That way we can trigger it with our heat bed. This is going to sit really tall with those heat inserts on there, but I think it'll still be lower than the frame. And it'll allow some airflow underneath from the fan that is sitting right here on the skirt. As an E9, you can't just schedule a private training flight? No, I wish I could. I wish I could. Clean, Florida. Seen a lot of changes. Saw your first TV in 1950 and was amazed. Dude, I can't imagine what it's going to be like to be 86 and see the technology that we have. Like, are we finally going to get those robot butlers we were promised in the 1950s? Am I finally going to see the house of the future and the car of the future that I saw on the Jetsons? Okay, so that one's on. Good to go. Again, I don't exactly know how I'm going to mount this power supply. My original thought was that I would use the different shapes, and as you rotate these around, it will align with some of the mounting points on the power supply. But again, I'm not exactly sure where I want to do that. So I think here's a good spot. Provides enough space. I still get space through the middle for that channel I want to do. But I think I can go a touch closer because the center channel should be this short one here. So that should go like that. And then my thought was I'd have another one here, but I don't have any electronics, so I don't know that I need it per se. Just really kind of this center one and maybe one at the rear to hold like some of the high voltage stuff. Yeah. So I think that's what I'll do. I think I'll just get this mounted right now. And we can use pretty much anything here. Let's try the B one. This one. I think I want to go like there, maybe. So we just lift this up, put this underneath. And depending on how you orient that, it's going to move that heat insert. So you have options. Seen a lot of changes. Saw your first TV in 50. We talked about that. Yep. I remember when dot matrix printers and plotters came out. I remember using one of those in elementary school for sure. In middle school as well. We would print out coloring pages and then color on them. A lot of this stuff was not around when some of us were younger, just like I still game. Did you know the Jetsons and the Flintstones were in the same timeline? I do. Did you know that there's a show where they actually met one another and were like hanging out or whatever? I remember seeing that cartoon. Hanna-Barbera was a wild time. Madmen out there, I tell you, madmen. That's one of the challenges here, is that trying to get this to lay flat with your things underneath can get tricky. The hardware I used on these, what I'm calling dog bones, sticks out a little further than I would like. They are M3x8s, I believe, and that's all I had. So they stick out the bottom a little bit, and it's causing the thing to bulge. But I don't know that that matters in the grand scheme of things. Have I seen the new Norwal robot vacuum? No, I have not. I'd like to, though. Remember paying for long distance calls? Yeah. I remember using long distance to tell my parents to come and pick me up from the skating rink. Because I didn't want to pay for it. So like you get that 5 seconds to introduce yourself when you're calling. And we would like use that 5 seconds to say, "Hey, I'm ready, come and get me," and then hang up. That's what I remember. And doing this, I'm going to actually put some washers on the end of here. Even though I'm using button heads, I still feel like it's a little bit small. I'm going to use some generic washers that I have over here to make that a touch wider. It actually will help with the plastic sliding versus catching on the hardware and trying to spin. You remember paying? Oh, sorry, I already talked about that. Think about it. I was born before World War II. I'm thinking about it. That's amazing. That's amazing. You've seen like 2 different Americas, pretty much. $84. That's a lot. Well, hopefully we get to keep you around for a little bit longer. Get you to that big hundo mark. And so I intentionally installed that off center, and with that big slot in there, I can go whoop and put it where I want. And then here we just add inserts. That way when we get ready, we just bolt that down. So no more like trying to slide this on or clamp this on and then have a hard time getting it off like you would see with something like this type of channel raceway. This one just bolts on. And then you can print it in different colors. You can put names on it or do whatever you want. Super customizable. So yeah, big fan of this system. It's just not available for everything. All the Vorons have a system like this. This one actually fits not only the 250 that we're building today, but will also fit your Mercury, I believe. This one went in a little bit crooked. We'll line that guy up. All right. Crossover. Still have a printer for your Commodore? I'm surprised you still have a Commodore. Here's another tidbit. Your mother is still alive at 105. That's amazing. That's amazing. Cherish her while you have her. Okay, so that's on there. We can add this on here. And some of these that branch across. So this, the pink stuff prints in quad, right? So in quadrants, one for each plate. This will fit on a 235 size build plate. So Ender 3, Bamboo Lab, all that kind of stuff. What holds them together are the dog bones and then whatever else you mount. So even our channel raceways here provide ways to keep our wiring clean. They also provide structure for all 4 panels clamping together. So the more components you add, the more rigid this is going to become over time. So this bridge is this way. I plan to do 2 more down the sides here. We will remove the dog bones, add on the 2 that come down the sides. They're printing over there right now. And then across here, this is where our manta is going to be, and that braces this way as well. Back here, we'll do the same with our power supply. So I'm thinking maybe I move it over here a little bit closer and just taking a peek at where those are laying out. I think what we'll be able to get away with are these F ones that have the heat insert near the pointy tip of the hexagon. I think that's going to work. I mean, just kind of looking at that. That looks like that'll be fine. So let's try that. And I'm intentionally spacing these across the gap so that I know, yeah, so that I know where it's going to be. Is there a system? Yes, there's a system for the 2.4. I think they have all 3 sizes. Oh, 2.4. Yeah, it's not exactly the same. So this is an inverted electronics version, and that doesn't exist for a 2.4, but there is a 300 and 350 sized plate. It just installs a little bit differently for the 2.4. And so you'll still have to flip the printer to access stuff. But yeah, it's out there. You can find it on printables under Fizzy's Tech. So I'm going to secure that a little tight there to hold this. And then I'm going to go catty corner to the other side and try to figure out what bracket I need for that one. That looks like probably a B, which is the one with the heat insert on the flat side, like so. Is this your design? It is not my design, Kenny. This is Fizzy Tech's design. All credit to him. You can find his stuff, and then all of these little add-on pieces that I'm installing are in his repository. So not only do you get the grid for the printer that you want to put it on, but then every individual piece right here is in one big repo that you can download. You know what? Let's go to it. Let's talk about it. Let me bring up. I have this habit sometimes where I will talk about a thing instead of just showing you. So let's go there now. So it's called the EMS. So Electronics Management System. This is it here. This is the repo. So these are all the little clips and clamps and brackets and whatever you would need to mount whatever you're going to mount. Power supplies, all of your common main boards, even your channel, wire channel guides, brackets for everything. I mean, this is the list of supported components, and it's quite extensive. So 50 different controllers, including the new Ouroboros. And then you have the different mounting systems. That's what I was talking about. You then have different stuff for your Raspberry Pis and all that kind of thing. And it's constantly updated. So you see the change log. The last update was 8 days ago. And then from here, if you go to his user page, you can find all the supported stuff. So this is one for a Doom Cube 300. You have stuff for Enderwire 2.4, V0. These are generic frames here. Micron, Trident 250, this is the one I'm using. So Ender 5 Pro, Mercury 1, and Trident all use the same system. Pandora's Box, and XK3. So all of your mainstream, more popular ones, there's probably a system for it. And if not, you can jump onto the frame version, and there's probably something here that might fit. And you'll have to go through and just kind of tweak it. You can go in the Discord, ask for help to make something custom if you're interested in doing that. But a lot of capability out there for folks that want to see it. I will drop you a link in chat for those that want it. And then you can go here and do stuff. Your dad's a Vietnam vet, but was over there as an air traffic controller before the draft started setting things up. Very cool. Your brother-in-law's 82? Wow. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I wish I was smart enough to think about something like this. I use this on my switch wire build. So I have a system like this on my switch wire, and if I were to do it again, oh, I also have it on the Trident Easy Bake. If I were to do it again, I would add it to anything I possibly could. Again, that's me. Okay, this is good. What was I doing? Oh, power supply. We needed a B with a screw here. Uh-oh. All right, so that's mounted pretty well just with 2, but I am going to add 4 in there. Did fizzy for your Trident and V0.2. Yeah, I agree. I like this stuff that fizzy makes. Now, how are we lining up over here? So that looks like another B on that side and probably over here as well. I think I have more of those. I just got to add heat inserts to them. Actually, it looks like I used up all my B's. Got A's left. Okay. Well, I'll have to make it work. I think this could be an F in this front corner over here. Yep, absolutely is. And I love that I can just use the inserts to mount this flat to the plate. Like I didn't have to design an entirely new bracket to flat mount this to the case. Someone was concerned about the SSR getting a little warm and, you know, melting something. I'm having those same thoughts about this power supply. I've not used this. I haven't talked to anybody who has. And so I don't know if the bottom of this gets warm or not, but I did notice there's not a fan. There's no cooling fan on this one like it would normally be on a Meanwell or something. So we'll find out. If she gets a little melty, I guess we'll be reprinting some things. And then our last one should be this B here. Come on. So this is why we do this outside the printer, because getting underneath and moving things around is super convenient to really tie it into where you want it to be. It's just a lot of flexibility for mounting. Cool, so that is mounted. It spans the back 2, this spans the front 2, this spans the front 2. Once we add in some more channel raceways here, this should be one rigid thing. And I mean, that's already pretty rigid, a lot less bowing in the center like it previously was. So should be well on our way here. Get some more of these in. What am I going to use? Let's do button heads again. You can always direct a fan to the power supply. Correct. So right here will be 2 fans in the skirt that'll come this way. I thought about doing 2 more fans, but that's 4, which is kind of noisy. I guess you could run them at a slower speed, but the SSR is directly in front of 1 fan on purpose to keep that cool if we're worried about it. And then, yeah, absolutely, we could do the same over here. Although it doesn't stand off of the mounts, so airflow underneath might be an issue. We could add standoffs to it if I get worried about it later. Right now I'm just going to press, but as I think more about it, I may add standoffs to bring it up 5 millimeters. It does a couple of things. Will give me airflow underneath against the metal portion of the of the power supply. Sort of treat it like a heat sink. 4 fans would be better. Yeah, tracking. But also it'll allow me to run wiring underneath if I need to. These just thread into plastic. If you wanted to modify it to use, what's it called? Heat inserts, you could. Maybe some of the silicone spacers, like for heat beds. That's a good idea. Probably have to do a cross brace bracket to support it though. Yeah. But that's why they make those little dog bones, right? So there are a ton of them. I printed way more than I needed. But yeah, if I'm worried about the bracing, so you can just, once this gets lifted up, there'll be space underneath to add this across where those connect. And you could do that all the way down. You could do that all the way down over here as well if you wanted. And that's how you add extra bracing to the overall project. But yeah, I could do that. But you're right, it uses all the components that you install as structural members. And of course, you can design your own however you would like. What I would do though is so I designed this one, I'll post it later. But I designed this one for that. It didn't exist in the repo. As long as you add slots in, and you could even do slots across here as well, or hell, even down the middle if you really wanted to. Just make these for button heads. And as long as you have that, you can slide this and get it perfectly how you want it to be for mounting. So that's the benefit. I mean, even with this LDO Nighthawk, just add a slot to a flat plate and get whatever mount you want. The LDO PSU has printed fixtures on it, so I assume heat shouldn't. That's a good point. That is a good point. I noticed that the other day when I was unboxing it, is that it does have printed end caps. So probably can't tell on camera, but these black end caps that surround your terminals are 3D printed. So Nathan's got a good point there. I don't know what it's printed from, but it's printed. Cool. There we go. That's pretty tight. Let's do this one here. This is our LDO one. Do I want to use this A? I think I will. I think I will. So I think probably the best place for this is maybe there. I also picked up a, what is it? Oh, this guy. So I've got one of these. I don't know that I need it per se right now though. So this is a power supply that has two USB 5-volt USB connections. So this will go to your power supply to get 24 volt. And then this will provide 5 volt, 6 amp, 30 watt power to whatever you need to power with USB. So don't know that I need that for this particular build, but I do have this kind of hanging out for, I don't know, whatever I need to power via USB. All right, let's do this guy. You've checked with Jason. Those are ABS parts. Cool. ABS parts. Good to know. Nathan always coming through with the good information here. Nathan, what do you think about the project so far? Is it meeting your expectations for your project intent? I don't hear any printing going on. Oh, because we're done. Cool, we got parts. I didn't plan to get to electronics today, but we did because of just flexing to get stuff done. And now that part's done, which means we can finish up the gantry. This has some play in it. We can go up and down, we can spin. So I'm gonna leave that a little bit loose, but we can move this around to wherever we want it to be and just keep it secure there. So that's the gist of all the electronics. There's still room to add on this LED board if we wanted to add more lighting. So that's cool to have options. But I have a feeling this will need to move over. Once we put that cable channel in here, it's going to sit like right here. So maybe we ditch it, maybe we don't. I'm still thinking through that. Definitely going to have one on this side. So there'll be a long 300 millimeter piece of this here. That'll also provide bracing across. Considering a short piece here, but not 100% sold. I'll figure it out. I know this needs to be nearby because the cable needs to connect to the main board here. So whatever USB cable I use needs to be able to reach. That's a problem for another time. Figure that one out on the margins. Okay, where are we right now? So gantry, parts are done. Let me pull that off the printer. We'll get this show on the road. Let's clean up some of the tools here. Add this just to get it out of the way. I hate that it's a different color. I really wanted it to be that lighter purple, but whatever. I just need to place an order for more of that ABS glass fiber. So next week, maybe we'll have the proper color of things. Sweet. Looking good so far. Love it. Thanks. Just want to make sure we do you justice, man. It's a pretty fun project already. So there are electronics almost done. We'll come back to wiring and putting everything together at a later date. But we are generally almost there. Generally almost there. So we'll put this to the side. I'll grab that part. And we'll see if we can get this gantry on quickly before we wrap stream. Ooh, she is stuck. Yeah, definitely did not need a brim. Uh-oh. Don't know what that was, but dropped something. Cool. So new part, different color. Sucks, but we're here. All right. It is the rear portion of this. Again, we're making sure that that notch portion there of the printed part goes towards the center and then flipped to the outside so we don't get it backwards once again. Let's get that started. Bring this down. So glad you stopped into this stream. Had no idea about this system for the voron and just getting started on your voron. Nice. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, this is Nathan's project. He is in the chat as NHCHIU, just above your comment there. This is his project. Only works on a Trident frame though, so I wouldn't say it's a system for vorons in general. It's a system for the Trident 250, which is not a incredibly common size. I mean, that doesn't stand out too much, really, right? I mean, on camera it does. It's dark versus light, but in the real world, it's, I don't know, not too bad. Back here in the corner, kind of hidden. Should be okay. Okay, let me move this, get the frame up here, and get trucking. So you stay there. Okay, you're not going to stay there. Let's move you Let's move you over here. Stay there. Get this frame back up. Make sure we get a good shot for you all. Give me a second to move the camera. We want to go this up. And I can make this a little bit smaller too. That should help. And we don't need this guy right now. Well, building a mostly trident voron. Oh, is that why it's called moron? I've never heard of that. There are so many like derivatives and projects and things that it's tough to keep track of it all. But it sounds pretty cool. I thought about doing an Ender 6 to Trident conversion. Been looking into that. I've got this random Ender 6 hanging out with nothing to do. All right, what else can we do right now? Let's do that. Close that. Let's grab our gantry. And I think this just kind of slides in. So we'll come in like this. Come in this way. Feeling like messed up a little bit. Like, should I install these first? Like, I don't understand. Oh, I got it. Never mind. I got it. All right, so what we're going to do is remove these yellow brackets. You want to build an Enderton. Another one of those, Bryce, that I'm not familiar with. There are so, like when Voron came out, like it became bigger than I think maybe even the devs really expected it to be. And it's so adaptable to so many different things. All you really need is a big box, and you can change rail sizes and extrusion sizes to suit whatever it is that you're trying to get after. All right, so we'll remove that. We'll keep that one there. Remove this. All right, now that works much better. So put that on, that. And I think, Nathan, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this comes all the way to the front. There's a little bit of slop there. I think I'm coming all the way to the front. Remove the x-axis. Yep, already done. I don't think you could build a trident. I would get me rat rig 500 PTSD. I'll tell you, having built a rat rig, which is, you know, right down there outside of the frame, they are not the same. They are not the same at all. The rat rig was fun in its own way, but definitely a different experience building than this guy. A project that takes two Ender 3s and makes a 235-ish V2. Ooh. And it's called an Enderon? Enderon, that is such a unique name. Again, I think this slides all the way to the front. Uh-oh. Too far. Yeah, dealing with that random M5 hardware that doesn't fully exactly fit into this frame. It's on printables. Okay. I'll have to check it out. You did do enders aligned at the front. Do enders. Okay. Jump back over to our PDF here. Look at this fork manual. I want to say they're in 5x10s, but I want to be sure. Not in here. Okay, so let's go back up. Ender off. It's like, who can make the best ender? But it's crazy to me that you have to buy a printer just to build a printer. Like you have to buy one, tear it to pieces because it's not great, and then build whatever you're going to build. That's wild. All right, we're going to go with M5x10s because that's what I've been using this whole time anyway. And that makes the most sense to me. Let's see. Yeah, that makes sense. Let's do that. Probably missed it. Yes, M5x10. Yep, that made sense. It's what we used for the idlers and then also back here. So process of elimination. Yeah, I don't know that it addresses put the Y gantry on first. Once I figured that out, like remove the X to add the Y, then it kind of made sense. Because in the Trident manual, they have you do your Y-axis linear rails. And so it would make sense to do that, but it wasn't explained clearly. But a little bit of interpolation's not terrible. This is a custom build after all. Oh, you did not miss this on the Y-axis page. Oh, I missed it? Let me see. X carriage, belts. X carriage. Oh, there it is. Yep, I see it. And then add belts. I should have saved a set of enders. This looks like a fun project too. I've only ever had one ender, and it is now something else. Nothing that you guys are mentioning. But that's been a pretty cool, fun project as well to be a part of. And we still got good motion. You had 6 and use them to make 3 do enders? Jeez. I wish I could just find 2 $50 cheap enders to do something with. The ones that I've seen lately, like folks are asking, and you know, they can do whatever they want, but they're asking like full brand new price for a machine that's been well used. You acquired 5. So you're making use. I don't blame you. Make use. Do your thing. Is that, where's that other, what's this one? Yeah, these T-nuts are not suited for this. Yeah, the 6th one you got from a garage sale for 40 bucks. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I need to hit a garage sale. Or maybe I just need to give you 40 bucks and then you can go shopping for me. Come on, T-nut. I hate to say it, but I'm about to start using hammer nuts because these roll-ins are just not playing nice. Either way. You got 2 3s and a 5 and only paid 80 each, all Craigslist. All 3 were alignment calibration issues. Thanks for the sub, Night White. Either way, your Ender 3 was new for 190 shipped, and you see them advertised for a lot more. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, folks want like $150, $200 for an Ender 3 that is completely stock, or they've modded it with all their random add-on printed parts stuff. Yeah, I've never found crazy deals like that on Enders. Last one here. All right. Cool. Now we can add on our X Gantry again. Luckily, it's pretty simple. Just hold this up to the rear and it should slide right on. As long as we don't lose our hardware here. Let's get a couple on that one, a couple turns on this one. And then a couple turns over here. Come on, baby. Doesn't wanna go in. What's happening? Oh, we're tilted, that's why. Okay. Yeah, so we may have to adjust a little bit here. Gantry's feeling a little bit crooked, and you see it pop out like when I let go, so it goes weak. I think maybe the rods need to be pushed into the yellow parts a little more. So let's do that. Should they be flush with the end of the printed part, Nathan? Is that correct in what I'm thinking here? One of yours was a broken one off eBay. You got it to use with the add-on laser module. All right, now that everything is flush, I think that'll sit a lot better. Because it was not playing nice a minute ago. The advantage of the do-ins are you can keep up, keep the V wheels, and you don't have to buy rails unless you want to. Yeah, I mean, but I think like V wheels was a solution to have things be affordable. But now that linear rails are so affordable as well now, like I don't know that V wheels are worth the trouble. Yeah, so that was the trick. Take note of that. When you're doing the parts, adding the rods in, the rods need to be flush with the outside of the plastic parts. That goes for your y-axis and your x-axis. So these yellow bits, the rods need to be flush with the flat outside edge of the yellow pieces there. And now that's sitting where it needs to sit. And what we're going into are those M3 hex nuts. And so you don't want to get like super tight on there, but yeah, that's a nice gantry. Heck yeah. Ideally, yes. Okay, but that depends on how accurate your rod is cut. Sure. You're printing well. Sure, if you put rails in it, you can go faster. I don't know, man. Like, speed's not everything. When you get too fast, your prints suffer. So unless you're only going fast for internet points, what's the point in saving 20 minutes over 4 hours? Cool, look at that. We've got a gantry, we've got a Z-axis. We're almost ready to print. Quality much better for sure. Yeah, I agree. But aren't internet points everything? Internet. So you get internet points, in my opinion, by making quality things, having hot takes, etc., etc. Should we do a little bit of belting today? I don't think that should take too long, right? We do some belts. What did I do with my... Yeah, I think we could do some belts. Let me just find my belt real fast. So I've got like a crate bin type thing over here that is got all my stuff in it for the build. And I think I might have cleaned up and put the belt in the belt drawer. Yep, there it is. There's some GT2 1.5. Yep. Let's do it. Control wants to do it, so let's do it. Do all of the belting. Belting should be fairly easy. I agree. There's a lot of good access all the way around. So I've got 10 meters of what I've labeled as 1.5 GT. Should work fine. I don't need all 10 meters of it though. Just gonna run half of this, and then we'll use that as our measurement tool for the rest of it. How's that sound? Okay, so I think first we start with the static side, so the left-hand side here, and we'll hold that in with an apex clip. I'm a little nervous about clipping this early because those apex clips don't like to come out once they put them in there. So rather than do all this, 1.5 internet points earned. Hey, yeah, 1.5. That's something I wanted to try. This printer's different enough that warrants things to be different. So yeah, 1.5. And we'll get a rough estimate here. So from there, go around there. Oh no, I just thought of that. My 1.5 GT may not work well with apex clips. It may not, but I think it'll do fine enough. I didn't think about that at all until you said it. It's a little bit off, but I think the tension should be fine. I think I could also go in, if I'm really worried about it, modify. X-axis comes off pretty easily to reprint the carriage, and then easily to reprint those things there if required. I think it should be fine. But if you have something, I would gladly accept it. Is there a rough wag on how long these belts should be? Like I've got this, they put this in one long 10 meter freaking length. I can't run 10 meters of belt. All right, let's go backwards then. Let's see if I can do this backwards. Only the yellow parts need to be modded. There you go. I'm trying to think of how this should go. Okay, so all right. I don't really have a good solution here. Let's try it this way. So we know that we got to go this way. Let's go this way. I'm just using this as a measurement tool. Use the outside of the frame. So I know that I got to go from here around into this, around this motor, back, across, up through the front, through this idler, back through this idler, and then into my clip here. And then I'm just going to go, I don't know, maybe so around that. See if we can give you a rough wag on, rough estimate is 1.6 meters. That's helpful. Let's see, let's get our giant ruler out. This is my 1 meter ruler. What are you saying, Kegel? So there's 1. And you said 0.6. I'm gonna do 1.65 just to be sure. We've got plenty of belt, but I said don't listen to you. Okay, I didn't even see it. You deleted it before I caught it. All right, here's the cool thing. I've got this really cool tool. I found this on the internet, as one does, and I'll show it to you. So it's this cool thing, like it's a belt tool. Couple of bearings. So these are 608 bearings. And what it does is it's got a slot here for your belt to go through. And so what you do is you align the ends of your belt, tooth to tooth, in like that. And then you insert it into your tool. And you can pull it through while keeping your belts tooth by tooth counted all the way through. You made one of those without the bearings for your 6mm. You could absolutely do it that way. I had extra bearings and it works really well. There's a version for, I think, 9mm belts as well. And then you go to the end till you get to where you want to be. And I've got my cut line there. Boom. Just remember which one is the leader. Yep, got it. Done. All right, let's draw out some belts, finally. Yeah, that 1.6 number is what I needed to alleviate some pain. Having 10 meters of belt hanging out there is no bueno. Now, we gotta make sure we don't install upside down. So these are pouch belts. So we'll look for that pouch to be correct side up there. And starting here, we'll go bottom belt, I suppose. And I need an apex clip. I know for sure I printed these. It might be in the other bin. So there's 1 and 2, 3, 4. Cool. All 4. Just gonna push that belt in there. Sorry if my head's getting in the way. I just gotta see what I'm doing here for a second. And this should be fine. I don't think it really matters, Nathan. I think the tension is enough to hold the belt in place. Yeah, that's so tight, like I am not worried. about that coming out of there. Okay, let's make sure we did it correct side up though. Yeah, there's very little labeling on this belt. It's all the way down here before we hit the first label. So we'll go in and around. That's pretty easy to get a tool in there. Press it into the right spot. Got it. Hey, Down Under Maker. Getting here a little bit late. Belt length matcher. Sweet. Have not seen that yet. That one, and then we'll go this way. Let you guys see as much as possible. All right, so pulling that over to the right. We should go at the bottom, right? So come in. Did I do that correctly? Oh no. Nathan, I jacked it up, man. I messed it up. So I didn't notice this. I'm just recalling this in my brain right now. I messed it up. So check out the manual here, right? So we need to go back a little bit. So here, let's bring this out just a bit. Belts, right? So if I go back up here to where we built XY joiners, I assumed that we were using teeth on both, right? So this one has teeth, this one does not. Both have teeth on mine. So I thought when it said if you're using generic pouch things, I thought it was like an either or, when in reality, I think it's a both. So both don't need teeth, and that's what I did. Only here because 2-year-olds being painful is 3:20 a.m. Sorry, man. Yeah, I'm streaming a little bit longer today than I normally would. So I'm just learning real time too at 3:20 a.m. in Australia that I need to tear apart my XY joiners again and refit some bearings on there because I did not pay attention. So it's both, it's not or. I interpreted this line the wrong way. And I'm realizing that as I'm building right now. So that said, I don't know that we're going to belt today. Because what made me notice it, right? Like as I'm pulling this through, are like the teeth are going to be on that when it should be flipped the other way. And so I'm thinking in my head like, oh, that's backwards. I need to flip the belt. But then also I'm looking up there at the pulley, at the idler, and I'm seeing that there's teeth on it. Oh, yep. I'm getting a little tired. So I'm not going to put you guys through that. I need to go and eat food and take a rage break and fix that. And once I do, I'll come back and we'll be all belted. So it's not a boron build unless you have to tear down 20% of what you already did. Down Under Maker, absolutely true. We had to do that several times with the XY joiners already because of me problems. And then I had to do that with the carriage as well. I had to do that with the AB idlers as well. So, yep, I got this. Have great Taco Bell. I don't know if I'm doing Taco Bell actually today. It doesn't feel like a Taco Bell day to me. I just had it like 6 weeks ago. So, yeah, I think I'm going to have to call it. We're just at a point where I'm not prepared to continue forward right now. Have a great remainder of the weekend. Yeah, you as well. So like I said, folks, we'll pick back up on this particular build on Sunday. I'm considering coming back tomorrow at 8:30, a little bit later, 8:30 Pacific, to see how far we can get on this. So if you guys are up for a tomorrow continuation of this build, raise your hands in chat. Crunchwrap, I hope you forget about it for a while. Thanks for the stream anyway. Yeah, Nathan, it's late for you too. Thanks for hanging out. Get some churros. Dude, I might have to now. Don't Knock It says he's ready for tomorrow's stream. You'll bring lunch, Liz? I'll see you there. Lunch and lip gloss. Almighty Malachi wants a tomorrow stream. Okay. 3's enough for me. Kitchell's in as well. 3's enough for me. If we got 3 people, we have a quorum. So, Kegel's in. John's in. All right. I'll tell you what. Normally I stream at 07:30 Pacific time. So whatever time we started today, add 1 hour, and that's what time we'll go tomorrow. Clown Hammer's down. Okay. Tomorrow's a holiday for us. I'm off. Let's go 8:30 tomorrow Pacific time. I'll put the post out there. We'll schedule it. So keep an eye out. And we'll see how far we can get on this build. Should just be belts. I need to do some hot end stuff. Maybe we get the electronics in there without too much cussing and fussing. Kenny Sims is down. GPs is down. Nathan will be here. Nice. All right, so we'll do that. We'll plan for 08:30 tomorrow. Make sure you read the date, right? There you go. Tomorrow. So basically, I don't know, 22 hours from now. That's not right. 21 hours from now. And we'll do it. Hand number 1. Love it. See y'all. Have a good rest of your Sunday. Go eat Taco Bell if that's in your nature. Take care. See y'all later.